Welcome to the jungle.
All right, everybody, welcome to the
Yeah.
We're in a full house today.
Yes, everybody is here in
Yeah.
attendance. Nobody's sick or hurt,
Shay
bleeding,
Farrell.
or dying.
I'm a little sick.
There's no houses for sale today.
Ed's
Shay's not
definitely
around.
sick.
I'm glad to see everybody's here.
Plenty of
No.
houses.
Is it Pharrell or Farrell?
It's Farrell.
No,
That's what I
he
thought.
calls you
I don't know why
Pharrell.
they're saying
For
Farrell.
real. Nobody gets it right.
It's
Everybody
for
thinks
real.
I thought it was Farrell.
It's for
Shay for
shizzle.
real. Yo, it's for real in the house. What's
It's
going
for shizzle.
on? It's for shizzle.
Yeah, I'm glad to see everybody's here and
That's 'cause you got
everybody's
your glasses
doing
on.
well. And Shay's got a birthday coming up. Is this a big number or
It is. Yes.
it's going to be what?
37.
45?
12. 44.
44?
43.
It's going to 19.
It's going
Which one is
down.
it? Which one is
70.
it?
By the end of the show, it's going to be like 19.
What is it really?
Is it a milestone birthday or no?
Are we live? Is this like
Absolutely.
No,
We're grilling you.
Listen, just like
Last I checked, you had a
never tell.
penis.
What?
Last I checked, you had a penis.
Oh, when was
and
the
you
last time
checked.
When was the last time you checked?
He checked.
So why are you checking?
Remember, he wasn't here for a while.
Is
That's
it Tesla?
Is it Tesla? My God, you're smooth. I didn't even know you were there.
Why are you checking to begin with?
I don't really.
Carl will be on the news next.
You're like smooth as a baby's bottom, which is a phrase coined by a pedophile. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Not on this
no,
show,
you know
though.
what? I would have been 47.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
good for
okay.
you.
I would have been 48, but I got left back.
You got lucky. You got
I'm
lucky.
just gonna
I
fucking
didn't make the grade.
I didn't make the grade. I got left back.
Well, we got a great show for you lined up tonight, and I'm glad everybody's here. Tonight, we have, in the first hour, we have author and spiritual leader, Bill Kinnison, who everybody knows is the brother of Sam Kinnison and has been
Yeah.
on our show many times.
Yeah.
And
Sam Kinnison has never been on our show.
no, in spirit.
Three
maybe.
people never been in our living room.
Right. No, there's a documentary coming out called I Am Sam Kinnison that's Bill put together about his late brother Sam, and I am looking forward to it. That's going to air on December 19th on Spike TV, and it should be really good. He's going to call us up and talk to us about that. And then later on at 9:30, actor, writer, director, and producer Joe Mantegna is going to be on the show.
Said it right.
Nice.
Said it right.
And I'm very much looking forward to
Mantegna?
that. Yeah.
Joe Mantegna.
Yeah.
Mantegna.
Mantegna.
From Bologna,
Mantegna.
Italia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tonight's show is sponsored by Jersey Shore Car and Limousine, 609-903-0358. Give them a call. Great stuff, great prices, and
That's how we get here.
the service is top notch. Also, tonight's show is brought to you in part by Residential Home Funding for all your mortgage needs. 973-575-1550.
Food.
Gene, I'm a little buzzy. You got too much bass on me here? I feel like it's
he's all
buzzing.
about that bass. About
Yeah.
that bass.
We'll call you Ruth.
Rebel.
Yeah,
We'll call you Ruth Buzzy.
Yeah, that's good.
Babe Ruth Buzzy. Get it home run.
That should be much
Oh,
better.
he's
Okay.
touching the
Are you
dials.
good now?
Now it's
All
all
right.
fucked up.
And,
So you wore this Kinnison shirt last week, but you have the brother on this week.
Yeah.
Right. Now he's
All
Iron
Kinnison
Maiden.
all month.
Well, you know what? I found out about it late. Usually
I
I'm
know.
up on stuff like that.
Last week was a preview.
Yeah.
Yeah, the preview to the preview. Let's get ready to get ready.
We're going to get Bill on in about 5 minutes, but I just wanted to commend Ed on another great show. I was
Hell yeah.
listening,
Really be true.
and I love his philosophy. He thinks the world's problems could be solved by exotic dancers. Which
He's not
Yeah,
wrong.
he's not. Yeah, he may have something
Yeah,
there.
he's on to
I
something.
think it's a good angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people are looking at that more.
I got it.
Depends on what angle you're looking for.
I would like to look into it a lot deeper.
Yes.
Who's got time to go to the I Hate America meetings
I'd
when
like
you're
to
getting
throw-
lap dance?
Gene, when you're ready, get Bill on.
I'll be doing it.
Yeah. Stroke him a
So,
little.
But are you doing anything special for your birthday, Shay?
No.
No. I tell you, I've been listening to the shows, and Dave, I make because I'm so engrossed in it. Dude, you come up with whopper one-liners. I just love it. When, and then Shay last week with Peter Marshall. Shay, you got a question? No.
No.
He just threw me right under the bus. I'm like, oh shit. But that was fun. But we should have a lot of fun with Joe Mantegna tonight. He's doing something with the Army, National Army Museum.
Oh, good.
And,
Perfect.
Yeah. So and Dave. So hopefully you have some kind of. He had 5 uncles in the military.
Yeah.
According to what I was told, and I didn't notice because I'm not big on the cartoons, but he played the voice of Fat Tony for like 23 years so far
Yeah, Simpsons.
on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Oh, hello.
Is our first guest up? All right, everybody. It is 8:40, and joining us on the phone is a good friend of the show. He's been on a couple of times, and he's He's without a doubt my favorite guest ever. There's
Who are you calling?
Hello?
Who are you calling?
Is this Bill?
No.
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Are you playing a
I'm
joke on us?
positive.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
Who did we call?
Yeah, who do we call?
I don't know.
I guess we called somebody that's
I'm
not Bill
sorry.
Kinnison.
Well,
You are on the air.
You're on the air live. We're looking to talk to Bill Kinnison.
So we're gonna call you Bill anyway. What are you wearing, Bill?
No.
All right. Give me.
Wow, that was funny.
I gotta get my phone.
I need a
I don't know
small
why
iron.
I-
I didn't do it. Check is in the
I'll
mail.
do it. Checks in the mail. I won't come in your mail.
Yeah, I got it. Gene, when you get a
Make
chance, hand
sure
me my
it's them
phone.
first, then introduce them.
Who was that?
I have no idea.
Why didn't we
Well, I
keep him
thought-
on? That would have been fun.
Yeah,
We could have fun with that.
They hung up.
yeah. So,
It's Gene's dentist.
Gene, give me my
Yeah.
I
phone.
called his dentist.
Yeah.
I'll come down there and pull all your teeth.
Watch the screen, watch the screen.
What's green?
What are you doing now?
Call him the guy, he said, call him the guy.
Oh, okay. He said,
You told me to call again.
no, not the number I just told you to dial.
No, we want Bill
Don't
Kinnison.
dial the
Bill
wrong number
Kinnison.
again. No.
No, dial it
Hello.
again.
Hi, Bill.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, all right, everybody.
Okay.
It is 9:40.
Is it the right Bill?
I'm in the wrong hour. Yeah, but it's 8:43. Joining us on the phone now is one of my favorite guests. He's been on the show a couple of times, and he never fails to. He always manages to delight us with some stories. He's got a big documentary coming out about his brother Sam Kinnison, December 19th on Spike TV. It's called I Am Sam Kinnison. Please welcome again our dear friend, Mr. Bill Kinnison.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of you.
Hey, Bill, I gotta tell you, man, we laughing when you first came on because we called the wrong person. We called the wrong number before we called you.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That was funny though.
You
We
know,
thought you were playing a joke on
we
us.
thought you were messing with us. So
Yeah.
we started messing back with you. But guess what? It wasn't you.
We only mess with ourselves.
Yeah.
Bill, I want to thank you.
No, I wasn't messing with you.
No, I don't know. You used to call up and pretend you were Sam, so anything's possible. I gotta worry, you know.
Hey, man. This
Uh,
is Sam Kinnison. I listen to the Billy O show every chance I get. Yeah.
Oh, God.
So,
Somewhere around there.
So, Bill, how you been, buddy?
Good.
I'm glad.
Doing good. Excited about this movie or documentary, whatever you want to
It's
call
amazing.
it. We had
Yeah,
the
we are too. We are too.
On Spike
premiere of
TV.
it
Can't wait.
last week,
Right.
and
Now-
it is great. It's
Cool.
it's the best one that I've been involved in, and I got to be honest with you, and it was pretty much a consensus. It's one of the best documentaries you're ever going to see. Period.
Oh, I am so
It is
excited.
really, really good. You get to know,
Right.
Sam.
Right.
Right.
And, had some. Ted Nugent was fantastic. Charlie Sheen was great.
Nice.
Tommy Chong, Corey Feldman, Judy Tenuta. I can't remember all of them. Bob Saget.
Right.
But it's really, the documentary is really Sam.
I'm
Yeah.
looking
You know, a
forward
lot of his, lot of material from when he started,
Mhm.
a couple of his preaching things, and it's fantastic. I'm telling you. Now, what you want to do is they're showing the censored version. I don't know, whatever time it comes on, 8 or 9 o'clock or whatever.
to it. On Spike. Yeah.
And then at midnight, they're showing the uncensored version, which is the first time
Oh.
Spike has ever done that.
Oh,
That's good.
wow. Yeah, I'm in.
About time.
And that's the one you want to see.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's-
definitely.
I'm in on
How
that.
long is it about, Bill? How long is it around? An hour. hour and
It's
a half?
probably hour and a half,
Good.
Oh, wow.
Perfect.
but it
2 hours
goes,
with
it goes by fast,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. You know what, Bill? What is this one going to tell us that the other ones didn't do? What could we expect?
Well, the other ones that we have, that I was the executive producer on this one, but the other ones that we did, Why Did We Laugh, and 2 or 3 of them was really a bunch of people telling you about Sam.
Right. Right.
And this has a lot more performance. It's got a lot of early performances that no one has ever seen.
That's cool.
And Sam carries it. Most documentaries is carried by the people that
Right.
talk about him.
Right.
But to be honest with you, Sam carries this documentary, and
Oh, wow.
you just walk. By the end of it, people were bawling, but they were laughing their ass off for most of it. But when we got to
Right.
the end, you had Ted Nugent crying, you had Charlie Sheen,
Right.
Yeah.
you had just about everyone, but almost everyone in the audience. And you know how hard-hearted this industry is,
Right.
Yes.
and to see these producers and attorneys and executives and stuff sitting there crying, you're just like, damn, we did a good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it should be this way for all comics, but I'm so glad that it makes me, and I'm one of them, that I keep his spirit alive. I try to commemorate him every chance I get. And you know me,
Yep.
I love him to death, and you always like every time I put up a post or something. And I think this is long overdue. Is now there was a speculation that there's going to be a movie in Hollywood. Is that still a go, or is that something that got?
Okay, that was kind of put on the shelf
Right.
until David Permit and the different ones involved in the movie saw the documentary.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, David Permit, who's producing that with me, he sent me a text and then called me. We talked probably for an hour, but his text said that this documentary is going to get the movie made. That's how much it excites you.
Oh
Right.
wow!
I mean, when you see it, you just go, why is there not a movie?
Yeah.
Is this a documentary with acting in the background?
Pardon?
No.
No?
No, it's actually
It's
about
not-
him. It's him showing his
I
performance.
know, but are they showing performances and then do they have like simulation of acting? Like, you know, like some documentaries have
Well,
some
like
acting.
on a true crime episode.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
No, but,
Nah.
no, but I'll tell you what they did, and at first I was, I didn't think it would work,
Right.
but they have put animation
Oh, wow.
in it, and so like just an example, and I don't know what kind of language you use on your show,
You
but
can say anything you want.
an example was,
You can say anything you
We're
want.
Uncensored.
Yeah. So
so we can just let it go, huh?
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Fuck yes.
Well, I'm telling about the story with Rodney,
Oh,
where he had
Oh,
to
wow.
literally talk us into doing the HBO special because it was we thought it was, not a contest, because I had a comedy club in Madison, Wisconsin. I actually held the finals of the Showtime funniest comedian in the world
Right.
at my club, and now HBO was doing these young comedian specials.
Right.
And so Rodney saw Sam at the Comedy Store and said, "Hey, dude, I want you to do this young comedian special. I think it'll help you." I already went upstairs and bumped the guy. Well, the guy he bumped, and I didn't know it till Rodney's funeral, and he was still pissed, was Tim Allen.
Oh wow.
And so he tells Sam, said, "I just bumped a guy. I think you should do this." So Sam tells him, "I don't do contests," and kind of walks away. So then Rodney was like, "Where's his brother at?" And so somebody said, "Well, I think he's at home." It was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And Rodney calls me in the middle of the night and says, "Hey, I got this young comedian special that I'm doing, and I think it could really help Sam.
Right.
And so I would like to have him on it." And I tell him the exact same words that Sam did. And that was, Rodney, he doesn't do contests.
Right.
And then what they show in animation, but they have Rodney, and they put my voice to his animation, and I'm going, what the fuck is it with you two guys? It's not a goddamn contest. It's a showcase. I think it could help him. And so the animation really works in it. It really does.
Right.
But and then you naturally know the story. Sam
Yeah.
and I head to New York, thinking we're getting a free trip, and that's about it. I mean, 6 minutes on stage, we wasn't expecting much. And the night before they filmed it, he cleaned the room. I mean, he cleared the room, man. They all walked out on him.
Really?
And and so he comes off the stage and tells Rodney, he said, "I can't get going in 6 minutes."
Right.
And Rodney was, "Tomorrow night you're going to kill, Sammy. I'm telling you. Tomorrow night you'll kill." And Rodney was right. The next night came, and that 6 minutes changed his life.
Right.
Wow.
Sure did.
Rodney had the vision. He saw it. You know what, Bill? I have to ask you a question. When it came to his writing his material, what kind of process did Sam have? Was he the guy that just to sit down and jot things down, or was it just whatever came to him?
Guy never wrote a routine in his life. I don't know if he could have. Everything that he did was off his head on stage.
Oh wow.
And when we were on tour, he had to have certain bits to do. So I knew where he was at, so I knew how close we was getting to the end, and
Right.
would have everything ready. but everything was off top of his head. Never wrote a routine in his life. Never sat down and ever wrote a routine.
Oh wow.
Not one.
That's amazing. You know, because
Well, his genius was really being a storyteller. He wasn't a joke teller.
Right.
Yes.
But he could make anything funny. I mean, if the first, and I think I said this in the documentary, if the first routine that people remember is you're making fun of starving children,
Right.
you better be funny.
Right.
Yeah, because that was a brilliant bit, the world hunger bit, whatever. It was,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Get back in the mud hole, Haji.
And that was all like improv.
That's right. Don't feed him yet.
Don't feed him yet. Don't feed him
I
yet.
want him. You know, the film crew could have gave this kid a sandwich.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that was Jesus.
The best thing about Sam was not so much. I mean, his material was incredible, but his delivery was
That's
unique.
what I agree.
His
Yeah.
delivery was unique. Nobody else delivered the stuff like he delivered it in his own style.
Well, that came from
The preaching.
7 years of preaching.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
I always said that Sam, the advantage Sam had over every other comic that I knew of,
Mhm.
is that he already had stage presence.
Right.
And he knew how to work the crowd. I mean, he'd already learned how to do that.
Right.
You know, our pay in the ministry was how well you worked the crowd.
Right. Exactly.
And Sam, and that's the advantage I thought Sam had over every other comedian. I mean, Rodney saw him when he had been doing comedy for 6 weeks,
Mhm.
and he came in with his entourage after doing a big show at the arena there in Houston. Came to this little comedy club, and Sam happened to be on stage.
Mhm.
And when I seen him come in, I told the bartender, I said, you know, I'll pick up the tab for whatever him and his
Right.
group wants. Well, he tells Rodney. Rodney has me come over to the table and sit with him, but he has no idea who I am
Right.
or that I'm related to Sam. He doesn't know who Sam is.
Right. Right.
And so Sam's up doing his thing, and about 3/4 way through, he turns around to me and goes, "Hey, this kid's a genius. I don't know how long it's gonna take him, but he's gonna be big. He's not too disciplined, but the kid's a genius."
Right.
Oh,
That
wow.
was Sam doing 6 weeks of comedy.
Right.
Wow. It was like effort, and he was a game changer in the business. He was the first one, and everybody will credit the other guy, but Sam had the rock star persona, and he just
Oh yeah.
and he set the bar high. He actually gave, you had Lenny Bruce and stuff, but Sam made them say, listen, I have the right to do what I want, and in a way where I can get away with it without offending nobody. And it worked for him, and he really changed the lives of a lot of comics, and he inspired a lot of people.
The best thing about
I don't think Sam cared if he offended anybody.
exactly.
Right. You know what I'm
The best thing
saying.
about Sam was nothing was taboo. I mean, he would go on any subject.
No,
to talk about.
nothing.
Right.
Right.
I mean, everything that Sam did on stage
Mhm.
was either his life experiences or it was his real viewpoint on whatever he was talking about. I mean,
Right.
like the starving children, he really did think all we had to do was move these people. And I go,
Oh God,
dude, you're out of your mind.
that's hysterical.
You can't move an entire nation
That's
of people.
hysterical. You know what's going to grow here now? Nothing. It's sand.
But you know what? It's
Food where the food is.
it's simplicity. Like nobody. It's like people are trying to think of these over the top answers, and the answer is right there. Technically, even though it's probably logistically impossible, but he's right. Just go where there's food.
Yeah.
Well, I had a joke years ago where it was the same thing about the Ethiopians. It's like they're sending them food. They're having 10, 12 kids at a time. Don't send them food, send them condoms. That's what they fucking do. They keep having fucking babies.
We need to contain him.
You know, you know what? That's completely feasible because if we could send a bag of rice, a box of condoms is easy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Bill, let me ask you.
Sam,
Do you?
yeah, go ahead.
He had a lot. With his relationships and the brilliance out of the relationships. But he had a lot of early difficulties with relationships, and it seemed to play out in his act really well.
A lot early. He had trouble with relationships his entire life.
I was trying to
It
be
wasn't
diplomatic, I don't
It wasn't just early, man. But yeah, I think probably his first and his second wife probably set the tone for his view on relationships. He loved women.
Right.
It's just that I think he said one time or did a routine about there's good women out there, like my grandma and stuff, and that man, they'll work with you, they'll be there, Then you got the whores and sluts, and that's the only ones that ever turned me on. And that was about right.
Yeah.
That was about right.
But it's amazing, and I'm so excited for this. I have you know, I had you on so many times, and each time it gets better and better. And I know you're very patient with me because you know I'm a super fan. And I want everybody to watch this. I had to ask you something really important, and I don't remember what it was. It was something about the preaching aspect of his life, where you said he was able to command the room, and that's very important. That's like half the battle, because a lot, you know, even with the material, if you ain't performing it right, it ain't gonna play out right.
Yeah, it's about control.
No, you're right.
We
Yeah.
do have a question.
Yeah, you're right.
One of our listeners.
Yeah.
They want to know how Sam felt about his public, his fans.
Oh, he loved them.
Yeah.
He would get pissed off when he'd see celebrities, you know, treating the paparazzis and everything bad, or not signing autographs and stuff. And he told me one time, said, "Man, this is why I got in the business.
Right. He took
I
care.
don't understand these guys.
And he took care of
You
the
know, they
staff
don't
too.
want to."
Yeah.
He took
I'll
care.
give you a story on how he felt about his fans.
Mhm.
When he was at the Comedy Store struggling, he lived in apartments that were, I don't know, probably 6 blocks, 8 blocks from Johnny Carson, where he would do a show.
Right.
Well, to get a seat in Johnny Carson's Tonight Show, to get a seat in there, you had to show up about 2,
Yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning to get a ticket.
Mhm.
That brought you back at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then you got another ticket that would get you in line at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so Sam now gets booked on the Tonight Show. So he calls me and said, "You know these breakfast trucks that run around?" And I go, "Yeah." He said, "I want you to have a breakfast truck there, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'll pay for whatever anybody wants. Just let them have what they want for free."
Oh wow.
Right.
Oh wow.
So I said, "All right." Oh, it gets better. Now we show up, and you got a call time about 2 o'clock. He's in a limo, and they're lined up outside of the studios there to go in. And so Sam has the limo pull over and let him off at the end of the line. And he goes down the line and shakes hands with every single person
Aw.
in the line, telling them, "I used to stand here, man. I used to be right here in this line." And what was funny is when Johnny comes out and does his monologue,
Right.
and then he tells who the guests are, and he says, "We got Sam Kinison here tonight." Well, the place goes nuts.
Right.
And so Johnny was like, "Well, I guess you like it." He didn't know that Sam had shook hands with every single person in that audience.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that was how he felt about his fans.
Yeah. He also was very good to the staff of the clubs, because I remember I did a show
Oh, yeah.
with Sam up in Rascals up in West Orange. He gave everybody that worked on
Yep.
that staff $100 tip.
Nice.
We
night.
did that every time we went up, either him or I.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Gave everybody from whoever was seating them to
Yeah.
everybody. Well, everybody in there got $100 bill.
That's right.
See, what I like about Sam was, Bill, and correct me if I'm wrong, what you see is what you got. His persona on stage, but what was he like off stage? Was he just a very laid back guy and very demure, or was he like still the same off stage?
So he wasn't near as loud,
Right.
Right,
He
right.
wasn't, he wasn't
And,
demure though.
as he was on stage, but he was the same guy.
Right.
Yeah. That's
I mean, he loved it. There were certain things he loved to do, even if he was partying for 3 days. One of them was he loved to talk scriptures with whoever was there. So if you was doing the blow with him and everything, you might as well get ready. 'Cause he's going to get your Bible study. And
Oh no.
and that was his thing. He considered himself a believer and a Christian, even up to his death.
Right.
yeah.
And his routines were never against God. And I think we covered that in the documentary. They were never. He was never unhappy with God. He hated religion.
Right.
Right. Right.
He hated these preachers and stuff like that on TV and stuff. That's what he hated.
Right.
Well, the ones that were trying to take advantage of people.
He
right?
wasn't into religion. He was into
Yep.
spirituality. It's a difference. It's a big difference.
Right.
Yep.
Now, Bill, about the documentary. This is a long time in coming. Why? What? We should have been done a long time ago, but I'm glad it's here. What was the holdup? Why didn't we get this sooner? Because I know people were clamoring for it for years.
Well, we have done 3 or 4 documentaries down through the years. None as good as this. The network, that's the company that we got with out of Canada. They were fantastic. They let me have control, and they were great. But the problem is that with being able to get it on TV,
Those wrestlers on
Right.
the shore.
and which was 20 years ago, man, that was tough.
Yeah.
And so it isn't a matter of it took us this long. We've done them in the past on videos, but this is by far the best one. And we worked on this for probably a year.
Oh wow.
Once we signed the agreement, we probably worked a year on this. I mean, it's well done.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of the industry there think it's the best documentary ever made.
Oh wow. That's a pretty tall compliment. So that means a lot, especially to the fans.
Here.
Now, Bill, real quick before we let you go, your book, I Am Sam. Is there any correlation to the documentary? Is there stuff that was in your book that's going to be covered in the documentary?
They used some of the storyline, out of the book. They basically used everything.
Oh wow.
How they found some footage that they did was amazing to me. I mean, they had footage of him early on.
Right.
That you'll see how he was when he started. And I don't know how they found that footage. I thought I had about everything there was
Yeah.
to have with him. But it's a great. We're fortunate. I mean, the first HBO special that Sam did, Breaking the Rules, just about every comic that has seen that has said that's the best comedy special they've ever seen,
Right.
including Jay Leno and on down the line. And now we've come up with this documentary,
Right.
and it's not only because I worked on it. I'm not saying that because I worked on it. It is the best documentary I've ever watched.
I can't wait to see it.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's going to
See that.
move me just by the.
And I'm gonna have to DVR the midnight one because I'm never gonna be awake.
Oh yeah, the uncensored one.
That's the afternoon to me. I'll be watching it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the sun is just setting for you, Paul.
I'm just waking up.
You know what, Bill? We talked to a lot
I don't know
about.
how they're going to show a censored version. They said he had 100, or not just him, but everybody also talking. There was 157 fucks.
Wow.
I don't know how they're going to censor
That's-
this
that's
thing,
more-
but for
Bill,
the
that's
first
more than-
time ever on Spike, they're going to have an uncensored
You
version at
mother
midnight.
friend.
That's Bill. That's more fucks than a bordello.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna have to DVR it twice.
Yeah. You know what, Bill? All the comedians that come on our show, we've had a lot, and celebrities, and I always mention Sam's name. They all speak of him lovingly. Especially, I didn't know this, but Ron White years ago said that he had met you, and he was just new, and
Yeah.
and you made him open up for Sam, and he was telling me all the.
Did he tell you the story?
No.
He did. I don't remember all of them. He told us a couple. Yeah.
He put it on the back of one of his DVDs, and what it was is I was always already there. Sam and I didn't always fly out together
Right.
because he lived in LA. I lived out by Ontario Airport, so we would, I'd always make sure I got there before him, and so we're in Des Moines, Iowa, and Sam always liked to give a local guy
Right.
a chance, to get up in front of a big crowd.
Wow.
So we never really ever knew who it was until, they were there. Well, I get a call and Sam's plane is late. So he's going to be a little late getting there. So I asked the promoter, I said, who's the opener? And he said, what's a young guy named Ron White.
Right.
Wow.
And so I said, well, tell him I need to talk to him, have him come back to the office. And so I'm sitting in the office, and Ron comes in, and, and I introduce myself, and how you doing? We're glad you're, getting this shot. And he was really appreciative. And so I said, I need you to go a little long because Sam's running late. And he goes, how much time do you need? And I said, I need a good 15, 20 minutes out of it. And he says, I only got 5 minutes.
Exactly.
And so,
Talk
and
slower.
so I looked at him with not even a smile, and I went, well, if I was you, I would really talk slow. Because you're going to be up there 15 or 20 minutes, either dancing or telling jokes or something. And so
That's
that was the
funny.
story. But yeah, that is a true story.
Yeah, he did tell us that. He did
Yeah,
tell us that.
now that I
Yeah, he
remember.
did say that
Now,
story.
yeah. But Bill, I never get tired of these stories. And listen, if any of Sam's stuff, if you want to bequeath it to me, my last name is BEL. I have to ask you a question.
Bequeathed, write that down.
I'm
Bequeathed.
trying to find a first edition printing of your book, and I can't do it. I can't seem to find it anywhere. So do you know where I can get one? I want to order one.
Well, since I really like you, send me
Check for
send me an
$100.
address, and
Some address
I'll
stamp
send you
envelope.
I'll send you one of the few that I have.
Oh,
But you
boy.
can't. It's been out of print for God
Yeah, I tried. Even on Amazon, I struck
20
out.
years.
I got Bill. I got
Yeah.
a feeling after this. After
Yeah,
this
but you only get used ones on Amazon.
Yeah, so and then I have everything else.
Yeah, and it's on his Christmas list, and I can't find it.
I have the Rolling Stone magazine. I have a lot of stuff, and I collect. I even found a business card case that somebody was selling on eBay. I just buy everything. I have all the albums in frames. So
I also think, Bill, after this documentary, things can be back in print.
yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Oh, we want to actually with the movie back on. We want to, maybe write another chapter on the book and then re-release it. It
There
was a
you go.
bestseller,
Yeah, I was just gonna
when
ask
we
you
did
that.
it the first time. But
That'd be a good idea.
That's funny you said that because I was just gonna ask you. Is there like a part 2, or maybe you add a couple of chapters to the book? Yeah,
yeah, but be sure and send me your address or whatever.
I will, Bill. And
on
thank you
Facebook
again.
or something. And I will. I'll send you one.
And then so it's December 19th on Spike TV. The first episode, the censored episode is at what time?
Midnight. Oh, no, that's
Hey,
eight.
At
first
12
is
o'clock midnight.
That's the
Midnight.
uncensored.
That's the
The
uncensored.
censor's at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah, the first one is I don't know.
Depends
With
on
the
the
different
area.
time changes, I don't know what time it'll be on where you're at.
I think it's 9 o'clock here.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely look at
Okay.
it. And it's called I Am Sam Kinison. I definitely recommend anybody who's a comedian that watches our show or listens, just out of respect for Sam and loyalty, to show him the support that we still, even though he's no longer with us, we still love him and still think about him every day. And Bill Kinison here, who was a phenomenal author and a great spiritual leader. And Bill, thanks again for taking the time for me once again.
Yeah.
And
And,
Sam's always with us.
No problem, man. I always enjoy being on.
and you and your wife have a Merry Christmas,
Yes.
Happy New Year, and have a safe and healthy holiday, Bill.
Oh, you got to bring her up, don't you?
Okay, just have a safe one.
No, I will.
All right, just you.
I will. We're getting ready for a Christmas party here, so that's the reason I'm off in the room by
Awesome.
myself.
Well, you go celebrate, and thank you so much.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
You
too,
too.
Sam.
Bill
All
Kinison,
right, good
everybody.
talking to you.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more Animal House Radio. Don't go anywhere.
That was good. I had to do a little bit of ending because I sucked, but yeah.
Well, hey, we gotta do something.
Who the fuck
Army Museum.
Yeah, I'm the spokesman for the National Army Museum that they're building out at Fort Belvoir, and it's already well along the way. Hopefully, it'll be built by sometime 2019, I believe.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's going to be the largest military museum on the planet Earth when it's done. And it's just awesome. I mean, it's going to have its own parade grounds, just state of the art, all kinds of things to honor. I mean, obviously, our oldest branch of our military, and it's been a long time that they've had a national museum for that branch of service. And so, anyway.
I think we need more of those buildings, and I think it's just a wonderful thing that you're doing. And I think we need as a nation to come together and support our troops. And I think that a lot more people now over the past years that it has grown, and we're proud to be on Armed Forces Radio Network. And I know the troops right now overseas and at home and listening to you, and I know they're all big fans of yours. Joe, I know we don't have much time with you, but I have so many questions as being a super fan.
I'm good.
You've played so many, I looked at your body of work because I knew most of it. And I looked at it, some things I forgot about, and I'm like, wow. To say what's your favorite Joe Mantegna movie is like saying what's your favorite Beatles song. You just can't.
Well, ask him this. Ask him what was your favorite one doing? Whether no matter what genre it was, which one did you have more fun doing? How about that?
That's a good question. Because as you can imagine, having fun doing it may have no reflection on how good the movie is.
Right. Exactly. Right.
So,
that's what I mean.
And I like some of the movies that I've done in Europe. I think I read the script on the plane going there. You know what I mean? That shows you how anxious I was to do that film.
Right.
But a lot of them have been enjoyable. I mean, I've been blessed to be in a profession where I've been wanting to do this since I was a teenager, and to be able to do it at the level I've been able to do it's been great. And some things that come to mind is when I got to play Dean Martin in the Rat Pack. He was one of my idols, and one of my heroes. So to do that was a big thing. Being in Godfather 3 was obviously monumental, just to work with Coppola and everybody involved with that.
I love your character.
I've just been very blessed. I mean, I'm just thrilled to be on Criminal Minds now. My 11th season on a show that's been running now 13 years.
It's a great show.
And I'm proud to represent. It's nice to play a positive role model in the sense of an FBI agent who, another one of our men and women who are out there trying to keep America safe.
It's funny that Criminal Minds, when it came on, I instantly fell for it. I fell in love with the show because when I was in high school, I wanted to be an FBI agent. I wanted to actually study the profiling. In the 80s, this was sort of a new thing, but I actually got to talk to John Douglas, who actually started that whole unit.
Exactly. No, in fact, my character is somewhat loosely based on John Douglas in the sense that David Rossi, retires from the FBI, becomes an author, becomes a lecturer. So there's a little bit of John Douglas actually in David Rossi. So that I totally understand your connection with that.
Joe, the role of David Rossi, even though you're a well-seasoned actor, was that a challenge for you, being that it was like with all the procedural things that an FBI agent has to do? Or is it a harder role, or is it just more research?
Well, it is more research. I mean, everything has its own demands and limitations and whatever. I mean, like playing Dean Martin, in a way that demand was even higher because I'm playing a real person that you figure millions and millions of people all over the world think they know him. Like, in other words, hey, I know Dean Martin. I know what he looks like. I know what he sounds like. So, I mean, you have to really do your homework to at least give the semblance of. It's not that you're trying to impersonate the person, but leave them with a semblance of, like, okay, that's a pretty close portrayal, let's say. So with David Rossi, since I've had to somewhat, it's still a fictional character, I had to be true to the occupation, that's for sure. But I've been to Quantico numerous times. We've got great people on staff. We've had a former profiler, FBI profiler, supervisory special agent with the show since day one. And so we do our best to, make it as within the confines of a theatrical license. We still try to be true to the real organization because we don't want them to look at it and say, well, that's not the way it is. And so we work very hard at that. But it's demanding, but it's part of the game. It's part of what we do, and so I'm happy to do it.
When I first started watching the show, I thought Mandy Patinkin played a phenomenal role as Jason Gideon, and I couldn't see anybody fill in his shoes. And then when you came on, now I can't see anybody filling that role because you have just
Taking it over.
where Mandy and not to not give credit to Mandy Patinkin, where he left off, you started and you took the character in a whole nother direction. And even with the Rat Pack, you had Dean Martin down cold. When you were sitting there golfing and Peter, the guy that played Peter Lawford, walks by, you're like, "Morning, Peter." You even had the everything. I was like, I feel like I'm listening to Dean Martin. It was just so funny. You're sitting there golfing, standing there golfing. You're like, "Good morning, Peter," and you're just like, "That's Dean Martin." I couldn't believe it.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, it's like I say, it's I feel blessed to have had the opportunity to play the roles I've had, and some you have to work a little harder and to try to capture that thing, and you just hope to do the best you can. But I equate it to sports. I equate it to being a baseball player. It's not like you're really you try to play in the big leagues and then you try to fill the position that you're given. And so like in the terms of Criminal Minds, even Mandy leaves the show. It's not like I'm actually going into the same role. He leaves, the left fielder leaves, you bring in another left fielder, and just hopefully you do your job equally as well, and that's all you can hope to do.
What was the hardest part for you to do?
The role.
Yeah. What was the hardest role?
The hardest role? Wow, that's a really good question. I mean, Baby's Day Out certainly had its demands because it seemed like every 10 minutes that
I love
it seemed like every 10 minutes that Baby was beating the hell out of me.
It was so funny.
I had gorillas beating me up. I had my pants lit on fire.
I watched it with my grandfather.
I got covered with cement. So some of that was pretty.
It was amazing.
Yeah, but some roles are a little more demanding physically than others. Some are more demanding mentally than others.
Right.
Sometimes it's just the environment beats you up. I mean, I've shot films in 20 below zero temperature when it's supposed to be temperate outside, and so each one has its own kind of things. But there's the easy ones and the hard ones and everything in between.
Well, the part you played in Glengarry Glen Ross, that had to be hard because there's a lot of dialogue in that play.
Well, doing that play. I mean, that play really started my career in many ways. Back then, that was about 15 years prior to that. I was a working actor, banging around here, there, and the other. And it's funny. I was just at David Mamet's birthday party just this past Saturday night, and because we're 2 weeks apart in age actually, so we're still very close friends. And I remember talking to him even at the party, saying, "Gee, Dave, it's been since 1984 we first did that play on Broadway, and it's certainly changed my life." And I'll forever be linked with him and with that play. And the show won a Pulitzer Prize. I won a Tony Award. It changed my life. And but I was just feel fortunate to have had the opportunity to do it.
That's a great.
With all the dramatic roles you played, you've nailed them. And I've seen you I'm a comedian by trade, and I do the radio show, and I've seen you in a couple of movies, and my favorite work that you do, I like all your stuff. It's not, you don't even have a bad movie.
Really?
But I love the David, like you just mentioned, the David Mamet work you did. One of the movies that I love that you played in was Things Change with Don Amici.
Oh, we love that movie.
And it was a great movie, and then you had the funniest line in the movie. You're in Vegas, and you steal the head of the Vegas mob's car, and you're like, he's the head of the Vegas mob, and he can't even keep gas in his car.
Right.
I mean, just the one.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, that movie. I mean, and I got to work with the great, film legend Don Amici.
Yeah.
It was just such a thrill, and he became the relationship we had in the movie actually mirrored the relationship we had in life. I mean, it turned out to be that we, right up until he passed, we were very, very close.
I've always heard. I've always heard
right up until right up until he died. It was just. I'm just proud to have shared a film with him.
Don Amici is one of those guys you never hear anything bad about him. He always nice stories about him always.
Are there any roles that you ever turned down?
That you regret?
Every actor has that. Every actor has that in his resume. In other words, there's a role that you couldn't do or just didn't work out. But you know what? What you tend to find out is everything happens for a reason.
True.
In other words, for me to look back and say, "Oh, I wish I would have done that," or "I wish I would have done this," it just wasn't meant to be. I mean, I'm a firm believer in that things, just like having a child. And when we had our children, I mean, I have two daughters, and I'm just so blessed to have had two daughters. But it was one of those things when when they had the technology to tell us, what the sex was going to be, and I
Oh,
said,
wow.
you know what, I don't want to know
Right,
because I'm
right.
going to have what I'm supposed to have,
Exactly.
and we did, and I've got 2 daughters, and I couldn't be happier. And so, same thing with the roles.
Right.
Whatever I've done in my career, that's what I was supposed to do.
Joe, let me ask you. One of my favorite movies is I love comedies. I like everything, but the comedies I'm always partial to. But I loved your role in Airheads as Ian the Shark.
Right.
When you first meet him, you're like the Lone Rangers. Well, you're not exactly lone. You just have the delivery that you these one-liners that you come out with, and even the one in the money pit. I'm sorry. I thought you were a piece of ivory.
Yeah, the good-looking wool. Yeah. I
I got a question
I
for you.
think that was the line.
I got a question for you, Joe.
Yeah.
It's way off topic, but I always like to ask this question. Joe Montagna is sitting there late at night watching TV. What snack does he like? What snack does Joe?
Wow, that smacked me. Well, if we got any leftover pizza, that's always gonna be a go-to item. Let's face it, my name does end in a vowel. And so there is that. But yeah, I mean, really, I don't know. It just depends what I'm in the mood for at that time. But I tend to lean
You're a pizza
Italian.
guy.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
We own a restaurant. We actually own a restaurant in Burbank, California called Taste Chicago, my wife's restaurant.
Oh,
And
cool.
it's our homage to Chicago. It's a Chicago themed restaurant.
Right.
We've had it about 13, 14 years now, and it's so you got your meatballs, you got your Italian beef sandwiches, you got
Oh,
your
wow.
pizza. So
You're making me hungry.
we're able to satisfy it. There you go.
I love it.
Oh boy! You know what, Joe? I just I don't know if you. By the way, happy belated birthday.
Yeah, November 13th.
yeah.
Scorpio.
Yeah, and I don't know if you got.
Thank you.
I don't know if you heard the news, but the Amigos are out of the mansion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was a lot of fun too. I mean, I love being able to play Flugelman. Next thing, that was the first time really that when I used that voice for Flugelman, I made a little alteration on that voice, and that's what I also used to play Fat Tony, which now I've been doing for
Right.
about 27 years now.
Yeah,
On The
Simpsons,
Simpsons.
That's your
Yeah.
So
longest.
that was my homage to my dear Uncle Willie, who was Army veteran, World War II veteran. And,
Oh wow!
so Three Amigos and The Simpsons are kind of like my homage to my Uncle Willie.
Did you have fun playing the character of Fat Tony?
That's got to be fun.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I still love it. I mean, I still do it. When I first did it in 1991,
Wow.
I just thought it would be a one-shot deal, and that's
Right.
that. And as I said, 26 years later, I'm still doing the role.
Nice.
What's what's great about cartoons? They don't get older.
No.
Yeah, they all look the same.
Yeah, exactly. It still look the same. That's when he's still fat, and
You don't look the same, but your character does.
They're great. They're great for the
No,
ego.
exactly. That's right.
Joe, you mentioned that you got a love for acting at 16 years old. Did it start younger than that? Did you know that you wanted to do this, or it's something that you just happened to fall
No,
into?
I didn't. It really just happened. There's no reason why I would want to do it. In other words, it wasn't part of my family, it wasn't part of my lifestyle. I've grown up in
Right.
Chicago. It wasn't like I grew up going to plays.
Right.
And none of that. But while it really was a fluke thing, I tried out to play West Side Story in high school because everybody else did, because we all loved the movie so much at the time.
Right. Right.
And so I tried out like on a dare, and all I could tell you is it was the experience of trying out is what did it, because I didn't get cast,
Right.
but just going up and trying out and seeing what it was all about, and the response I got even from the audition
Right.
was enough incentive to like say, you know what,
You caught the
there's
bug.
something about this. I caught the bug. I really
Yeah.
did catch the bug,
Yeah.
and I really haven't looked back from that night. I really haven't.
That's great.
That was over 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to ask you, and I know a lot of people, and I've heard different opinions. A lot of people criticize the role you played in Godfather 3 was I loved it. Joey Zaza, he was badass. He was walking around, he's the bella figura and all that. It's just amazing.
mhm.
But the movie got a lot of criticism, and I don't think it was a bad movie per se.
I liked it.
The problem with the movie was, and I believe I heard Coppola say this, it wasn't necessary.
Yes, it was, and it knocked
Yeah.
everybody off.
Yeah, there's probably some truth to that. I mean, the thing is, it was 18 years after the fact. The expectations were through the roof because arguably the part 1 and part 2 are the 2 of the greatest movies ever made
Exactly.
in the history of cinema.
Right.
So how do you measure up to that?
There's nowhere
So
to
I mean,
go but
you do what
down.
you do.
Yeah.
What's interesting, I've talked to young people and you talk to young people who like were not part of, they weren't even born when the first and the second one came out.
Right.
And you talk to them, and some of them, when they watch all three, they'll come up to me and say, "Hey, I finally saw the Godfather trilogy. Actually, number 3 was my favorite." And I'll go, "Really?"
I like 3 too.
And you find out they have a different perspective because they're not coming from the same direction as those of us who saw them, evolve. So I think it holds up for what it is.
Yeah,
you just have to take it for what it is, and it is what it is. And like I said, I'm just very proud to be part of it.
I like 3 because they get to knock everybody off at the end. They get revenge. They got revenge. I love that.
Exactly. I mean, it turns into a Greek tragedy, and it ends as it should. I mean, Al kind of. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was one incredible ending to see him in that chair, and it's something so tragic because being a parent myself, the idea of losing a child is the most tragic thing in the world. So I think he was smart to do it that way to show just how it's a total tragedy. It's nothing. There's no upside to that life.
Yeah. How challenging, Joe? How challenging was it to play? I love the series, the TV movie, The Last Don, when you played Pippi Delena.
Mm-hmm.
How great a role was that for you? I think it was amazing.
It was. I was. What was interesting about that is, I do a lot of books on tape. I do like not as many as I used to, but I do like all the Spencer books because I was a good friend of Robert Parker who wrote the Spencer books, and then I did all of Mario Puzo's books on tape. And I did The Last Don about a year before they made the miniseries. So I remember when I did the books on tape, I loved that character, Pippi Delena. And so when CBS decided they were going to do this miniseries and they came to me with that role, I was like, oh my God, yeah, without question, I wanted to do the role. And what a lot of people didn't know is that Marlon Brando was originally signed to play the Don.
Oh, wow.
And it was me and Marlon Brando. Yeah, and then there was something happened. There was a little conflict about it. And then in the last minute, he'd already even had his costume fittings and everything. Wow. And he bailed. Okay. And so they thought I was going to bail too, but I was so into the character and I wanted to play the character so badly. I said, look, I'm disappointed it's not going to be Brando, but it doesn't matter to me. Let's just do it. We did, and Danny Aiello came in, did a fine job, and I loved doing it. And one of the greatest phone calls I ever got was from Mario Puzo. That after it came out, Mario Puzo called me, and what he told me on the phone is he said, I just want to tell you, I saw it, and you portrayed it as I hoped it would be done.
Oh, wow.
So to me, that was the greatest compliment I could ever get.
Definitely.
So that was enough for me. I don't care if I get bad reviews. I don't care. Puzo said I was his guy.
That's all I need, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's all I need.
How'd you like your first thing was hair, right? You were going to play hair, right? Is that when you first?
Yeah, that was my first professional job.
That must have been cool being in that.
To play hair.
That must have been really cool being in that, the first job.
Oh yeah, that was great. I mean, it was the 1969. I mean, you can imagine what was happening politically in the world and the country, and it was very topical at the time. And so it was an incredible way to start my career. And that's actually where my wife and I got together. She was in the show as well, and we've been together ever since.
That's cool. That's great.
Joe, besides the amazing cast of Criminal Minds, which I think is a brilliant cast put together, now I know you said before they have a guy like a technical advisor. When it comes to these the series, how do you keep it fresh and not be repetitive and still keep it fresh? Because does it get harder and harder to keep writing new material because it's like?
Well, that question is probably best broached to a writer, but that's what it's about. As long as you keep the quality of the writing up, it'll always be good. I mean, and I think that's the key in our business. In other words, there's a saying that I'm very familiar with, which is if it ain't on the page, it ain't on the stage.
Right.
We use that in theater, but it applies to television and movies as well.
Sure.
So in other words, the writing is just so important, and if the quality is up, and we change writers too, and I mean, I think it's been a good thing, just like with actors. In other words, sometimes you have to move people around, and some men or women will leave and go on to other things, and then we bring in some new talent, new blood. And I think it's good. They come in with new ideas, and they're excited to be with us. And so I think that helps. And even the same thing with The Simpsons. That's why it's been on for like 30 years now.
Right.
They bring in some new blood, and you mix the veterans with the new people.
Right.
And that's a good formula. So I think that's the key, is to just kind of try to keep it fresh and always try to be inventive.
I got to ask you something, Joe. This is Paul again. When you do something like voiceover for like The Simpsons, are you doing it with other people in the studio with you, or you're by yourself when you do your role? I'm always curious.
Well, initially, back in the old days, we pretty much always were together all the time, you know. But as you can imagine, after 30 years, it's loosened up a bit, and it's not necessary that everybody's there all the time. But they do it. They try to. And if nothing else, we always do the read-through with as many of us as possible.
Oh,
Which is usually everybody.
Everybody.
So in other words, they do a big read-through at the Fox lot. And that's one of the most entertaining days in show business, to be invited to come to a Simpsons read-through. Because you sit in that room and you watch and you're hearing Homer and Bart and Fat Tony and all the different characters all talking all at the same time. It's a pretty fun experience. And then when we record it, if we can, we all do it together. If not, we'll do it in groups as they're able to get. On occasion, I'll have to do them by myself, but it all works. In the end, it all works out.
That's cool. They should do the read-through in front of a live audience.
Yeah,
that'd
be fun. Yeah,
that's live studio audience.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, like I said, there are always usually invited guests. And I remember one time I walked in for one of the read-throughs, and there was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar sitting there. And the reason is he was going to be on the next episode. And he wanted the experience to see what it was like.
Right.
And I thought, oh wow, there's Kareem, the tallest guy in the room sitting down. But yeah, that's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Now, with the Criminal Minds, with the writers, is any of these stories actually taken from sort of real life episodes of events that had happened?
Yeah, certainly some have been inspired by that. I mean, when we finish this season, we'll have shot our 299th episode.
Wow.
That's going to be our last our episode of this season. So I'm fairly confident we'll open next season with number 300. So with that many stories, as you can imagine, there's some of it's going to be drawn on, inspired by something that really happened. Others are going to be totally from the imagination of the writer. Sometimes we come up with story ideas. My assistant, Dan, has actually came up with a wonderful idea that wound up being a trilogy of stories that dealt with my history in the Marine Corps and the fact that my commanding officer, that we find him as a homeless veteran on the streets of Los Angeles, and that led to a 3-story arc in itself.
Oh, wow.
So
That was my
sometimes we have sometimes we have input that leads to a story. So it can come from anywhere and everywhere.
I actually like that arc. Wasn't that with, he was actually a very close friend of yours, Meshack Taylor.
Meshack Taylor. Meshack Taylor is one of my dearest friends in the world, and I'll forever be grateful that we were able to shoot 3 episodes that dealt with that character. And that final episode, we were actually to actually bury him, not just the character, but my dear friend at the same time. And actually, we flew in 2 real 3-star Marine generals from Washington, D.C. to be in the episode. And he was the actual Marine general who handed the flag to the family. And so for me, that was a moment where art imitated life.
That'd be a hard scene for you to do.
So it was really something very hard, but I'm so glad it's on film and for his family and just it was just a wonderful thing to have been able to do.
I like that.
Now with season 13 almost ending, season 14 coming up, I'm glad that I see the series shows no signs of slowing down. What can we expect coming into the new season, and where would you like to see your character go, and would you like to see?
Well, we'll see. I mean, like I said, we won't know for sure until the end of this season whether we even have a pickup. I mean, but I feel pretty confident we will go into season 14, and when we do, in a way, I give the writers so much credit. In other words, I do leave it up to them to where do we go from here? Where do we take it? I mean, I think we're already talking about how we've got about 9 or 10 episodes left for this season. And I think people are going to discover that there's some really interesting things are going to happen, not just with the BAU and with us on the job, but also with our personal lives.
Right.
Because we've also in the past, we've explored some of Rossi's personal life. I was married 3 times. We've already explored 2 of the 3 wives. We discovered I had a child. So there's all these different kinds of things that are possibilities out there. So, I mean, I think it's just going to be a continuation of that, of personal stories, background of all the characters, as well as of the crimes that we're going to have to solve.
That's one of the aspects I liked of the show. It didn't just show you, all right, here's a crime. These guys are here to solve it. It got personal. You got into, years ago, Thomas Gibson's character, his wife being murdered, Gideon being murdered.
That's what draws you in. That's what draws you in.
And it made it much more interesting.
Yeah, I think it's very important, especially on a long-running show, because my argument to that is always these fans have invested this many years to the show. That means they've invested in these characters.
Right.
We owe them that.
Yeah, you
They
can't.
want to know about us.
Right,
We know there's going to be a crime. The show's called, Criminal Minds. We know that there's going to be a crime.
It's a
I
little
mean, that's a
hint.
given. But let beyond that, what about these people? And so I personally, and that's why even the episodes I direct, I tend to favor the ones that have a more personal story, and the writers know that, and so they tend to give me more of those storylines when I direct an episode.
Do you enjoy the directing aspect?
I do. I mean, it's very demanding. It's a much bigger responsibility. It's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
I think for those 8 days of filming that we do, the 7 to 8 days of filming it takes to make an episode, you're in charge of like 250 people that make up the company.
Right.
Oh,
And time is money, and it's my job to make sure that at the end of that period of time we have an episode. So
Right.
it's a huge responsibility. But like I said, I've been doing this a long time, and I feel. If nothing else, I feel like I've got the experience now, and hopefully, the episodes are worthy enough, and they seem to be.
Well, it shows in the
received
quality
well,
of the
and so-
episode. Believe me.
That- that's-
Yeah, I hope so. I feel good about it.
Yeah, there hasn't been a bad episode yet. There really hasn't.
I spoke to Dan, your assistant. I had a
thank you.
conversation with him a couple of days. Couldn't be sweeter. He's nice. He made this so easy for us. And to get an A-lister like you on the show, it's just a dubious distinction for us. And I wanted
My
to just
pleasure.
we're gonna have Terry Shepard on in January, and I wanted to talk.
Oh, great!
The gun
Yeah.
stories. Let me tell you something, Joe. That is the most freshest idea I've ever seen. Of the idea of like a MythBusters, but for
Oh yeah.
gun
Wait till
scene.
you see the new episodes. Wait till you see the new episodes of Hollywood Weapons. I tell you,
Nice.
I've just been screening some of the new episodes that haven't aired yet. They've taken it to a whole new level. They've added, another character. They've added some humor, more humor, and the technical aspects have all been raised. I mean, I think the Outdoor Channel realized they really had something here, and I think they've stepped up the game on that show. And so, yeah, I couldn't be prouder of Dan and everybody connected with that show and what they've done. And I think the fans of that show are only going to become
That
greater.
show's
and
gonna. Yeah.
it's going to be a flagship show for that channel.
You know what? I want to see if you can do this. I want to see them in the. I forgot which Lethal Weapon it was, where he tosses the gun to Mel Gibson, and he has Teflon bullets in the gun, and he actually shoots through a bulldozer, which I find hard to believe because the magic of Hollywood.
Well,
Right.
I'll drop
Great.
that. We'll get it done. I think there was a huge amount of people that wanted this things done from Quigley Down Under, and you'll see that episode was shot. We had Tom Selleck himself as a part of the episode.
Oh wow!
That's a terrific episode. They've got a Goldfinger episode coming up.
Oh, cool.
Where we emulate the Aston Martin with the machine guns, that scene. So there's some great episodes of Hollywood Weapons coming up, and as well as another season of Gun Stories that we're going to be shooting.
Very
Be our
nice.
eighth
Cool.
season of that.
And that, I think you
So
guys
that's all good.
didn't you guys do the one with the Jaws with the oxygen tank?
Yes, did the oxygen tank Jaws episode that was done. They did a Rambo episode. They've done the Star Trek episode. There's been some really great ones, but I tell you, the new stuff is really, I think, they've taken it to another level.
And that's on the that's on the Outdoor Channel. On what day of the week is that on?
I don't know. Depends on the region.
Hollywood Weapons airs on what night? February 24th. The new episodes are going to air, and what night is that on? My assistant answer. Saturday nights.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Saturday nights,
All right.
starting February 24th. They're in repeats right now that they're showing, but starting February 24th, the new season will start.
Very cool.
Yeah. And
So I'm going to have to wrap this up only because they're starting to
No
close the
problem.
lights here in this building, Gary's building here.
No, absolutely.
The event is,
Joe, before we
the
let
event
you
ends,
go,
I guess, at 7 o'clock.
No
yeah,
problem.
before we let you go, could you do us one quick favor?
Yeah.
Could you do a station ID for us here?
Yeah, sure.
Basically, you
Tell
just
me what it is.
you basically just introduce yourself and say you're listening to the Animal House Radio Show on the Hamilton Radio Network.
Okay.
Count
The
yourself.
Animal House radio show?
Yeah,
Yes.
on Hamilton Radio.
What is it again?
Uh,
Okay, got it. Ready?
Go ahead.
This is Joe Montaigne. You're listening to the Animal House radio show on the Hamilton Network.
Yes.
Thank you
Joe,
so
thank you
much.
so much. Anything we need to do for the museum,
And
the
Merry
National Memorial Day concert, consider yourself family and a friend of the show. Anything we could do to help you, you have an open door anytime.
My pleasure. My best to you guys, and take
Merry
care, and thanks
Christmas.
for the opportunity.
Merry Christmas and thanks
Boys
again.
and girls. out
Happy
there.
birthday.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so
very
much.
much.
Joe Mantegna,
Bye-bye.
everybody. That was awesome. Yes, yes. Great guy. And he gave us more time than he's supposed to, but
That was nice.
that was awesome.
That was nice when you do that.
Absolutely. But
That was great.
so what are you laughing at? What's funny? Oh, that's like a shot glass for you, huh, Ed? You want a straw?
Yeah.
That's a straw.
Am I the bartender? I can't taste.
It's, they'll put it in your bra.
Don't spit in the wind.
Don't spit in the wind. All right.
Never look directly into the sun.
What was I gonna say? What do
I
you
am
want
the
to? Ed, you want to do your thing?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Do your thing.
I got your music here and I extended it so it won't run out on you.
Nice.
So, all right, everybody. Now it's time for your favorite segment of the evening, the Way the F Out There News, with none other than Ed, the Big Kahuna Ruffalo.
Boston members of midget crime gang suspected of 55 break-ins.
They came up short.
3 members of the so-called Irish mob midgets. Shocker, the Irish came up short. A Boston-based criminal organization composed of people of short stature have been arrested this morning, reports the Boston Chronicle. Security camera footage showed the 3 suspects during a home break-in in which the intruders entered a house through the pet door. Authorities also believe that the crime organization could be behind 55 other similar break-ins in the region. They found the criminal used their small-sized bodies and used them to break in through chimneys, pet doors, and small open windows. Although the Irish mob midgets officially describe themselves as the non-profit motorcycle enthusiasts group for small people of the Boston area, several high-profile members, really high-profile members, you're kidding.
Low profile.
Short profile members.
Several medium-sized profile members of the organization have been arrested in the past years on charges of drug trafficking, arson, and aggravated assault. What do they do, punch someone in the knee?
You know, but they go in front of the judge. It's really just a little crime.
Don't worry, they'll do short time.
Small fine.
Okay, we're going to go international here, folks.
International. IHOP.
Yeah.
Kind of. Woman caught trying to smuggle bologna into the United States.
What is with people smuggling food?
Didn't you do that already?
It is bologna.
Nobody like him though.
Customs and Border Protection agents in El Paso say a woman who initially told inspectors she had nothing to declare as she was entering the country from Mexico was found carrying 220 pounds of contraband bologna in her car.
Oh, in a car. Okay, I was wondering how she was smuggling it.
Yeah,
It was in her vagina.
Cargo
It was a
shorts.
JJ.
Could have been in their
Should've
ass.
Put it in a hoo-ha.
I was gonna say that's a big vagina.
Yeah.
The discovery last week was made at a secondary examination station after a drug sniffing dog became alarmed and started barking near the backseat of
Very
the
hungry
woman.
drug sniffing dog who didn't have lunch yet.
He was a vegan.
He smoked a lot of weed at the car before that,
Yeah.
so he was really hungry and had the munchies and was going after the next trunk.
Apparently it was because there were 23 tubes of meat hidden under the rear seat of her car. When being questioned as to why she was transporting that much bologna, she immediately shouted, "My bologna has a first name. It's OSCAR." It immediately determined that the woman was mentally unstable, no kidding, and transported to a psychiatric facility for further evaluation. The bologna contains pork and isn't allowed into the country. Officers seized and destroyed the bologna.
Ed's devastated. He's gonna
And the
go.
driver was given a $1,000 fine. That's a lot of
Thrown
bologna.
in jail for 40
It
years.
is a lot of bologna.
Hey, they could have gave it
And
to
it
you.
won't
You would have
stand
made
for
good
bologna.
use of it.
That whole story is full
Honestly,
of
I would
I
just
say
say
she's full of bologna.
What would you do with 23 tubes of bologna, Ed?
Eat it. Eat it.
You know what? You know
She was
what?
gonna make a special movie.
You're gonna think I'm crazy, but I fry and eat it in the morning with eggs.
All
You are
those
crazy.
weekends in jail, you know, you get used to the fried bologna.
Yeah, but that's not even, that's, what
And-
you call
and
it?
again,
Except this is real bologna.
That's
I was just
fake
gonna say,
bologna.
depends on
That's
how
fake.
it's shaped.
No, they don't give
But you
you,
don't get any of the powdered cheese. So
well, you don't get meat in the prisons because
Oh,
of,
you
it's
get
just
meat
a
in the can.
Muslim.
You get meat in the
You
prisons.
get, you
Yeah,
get meat
not
in the
me.
can.
It's not very good
You
meat.
get bad meat in the can.
No, they were warned
course
before I
it's
got
bad.
there.
Of course, it's meat. It's bad meat. You're getting it in the can.
Yeah. You can get botulism.
You get more than
that.
botulism.
Too much sausage in the
You
can.
get STDs
You could
too.
also get a bad limp.
Yeah, well, the gimpy leg. You
You
were
can
smooching with my brother.
You could get botulism.
Little
Or the
Al.
HIV.
Little mole with the gimpy leg.
What else you got, buddy?
Burglar caught defiling life-size sex doll. Police in Australia, home of our fan Julie Angelino Arendi Giovinazzo.
Jeez.
I know, I love saying that name just because it takes a half hour.
She's Irish, right? She's Irish.
Yeah,
She might be.
And that's hyphenated.
She's Australian, so it's probably like, you know.
I like a girl that goes down under.
Probably married to an alligator. Police released security camera footage of a man smashing his way into an adult entertainment store, defiling, and then later absconding with a life-size sex doll.
That's understandable.
Write that down.
Well, if you're gonna steal something.
No, he only writes down the stuff that I say.
Oh,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Well, that's his own word, Paul. Didn't you say it's only in my vocabulary that you write down the words of the day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't be so animated, Paul. Relax.
I said yes.
Take his
I'm right here.
animated.
I'm here. I got 3 already.
No, but didn't you say that you don't criticize
all
only
hybrid.
me? I'm the only
Just
one
you.
that bequeath. Did you put bequeath?
I got bequeath.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
He had a word with a Q. I'm amazed.
I know.
What's a?
Do we have botulism? You said
Yeah, really.
botulism.
What?
Did you put down
The
botulism?
Q is silent.
No, because he didn't say it.
Got it.
Who said it?
You said it.
Oh.
Botcha me, I botcha you.
I did?
Yeah.
Botcha me, ya botcha you.
The Victoria Police Kingston Crime Investigation Unit said the man whose face was concealed by a pair of stockings and a ski
Is
mask.
this deja vu? Have we had this story
Yes.
already?
Not in
The last one,
Australia.
too.
Okay.
Didn't
I'm
Ed
saying to myself, I'm going
read
to deja
them?
vu here again.
Double deja vu.
This is deja vu.
It's triggering things in my head. I'm going to say this. I said, wait,
He's
I
gonna
did say
read it
this
again
already.
later. It's Bouchard.
Feels like I've been here
Eddie
before.
Clark read this.
Yeah.
Didn't he last week?
Eddie
Yeah.
Clark read this. That's
Oh,
Oh, Eddie
right.
Clark read this?
He doesn't have Ed's flair though.
I'm not backing up Eddie Clark. Throw that out. Morgue employee cremated by mistake while taking a nap.
That's the one I sent you.
Beaumont, Texas, an employee of the Jefferson County Morgue died this morning after being accidentally cremated by one of his coworkers.
Oh my God.
You know, I got a few coworkers I like to accidentally
Now,
cremate.
How do you sue somebody after that?
What's his name? Mike
How
what?
do you know it was him? What do you get DNA?
What's
to
the guy at
ashes?
work? Mike Dilly?
No,
Mike
They don't show up anymore, so.
Mike Biddy?
no, Mike Biddy I love. I wouldn't cremate him.
Mike Bibby?
You just
But
called him a douchebag before because he laid you
Still
off.
loves him.
I
You
call
lost
you a
his
douchebag, doesn't mean I don't love you.
Well, as long
Good
as you-
point,
as
good
long as
point.
you follow it up with love.
Tom's a junkie.
Ed, you're laid off for
Everybody's
Christmas.
getting cold.
I
It's
am.
like Gene.
Hey,
I love
you know,
you,
for
man. It's not about us. It's about the universe.
This is 60 Minutes.
6 minutes, Dougie Fresh. You're on. He did that last night with the Sharpie. He kept
Oh, I'm
snapping
saying.
it when the guy went.
According to the Beaumont Police Department, 48-year-old Henry Paul Johnson decided to take a nap on a stretcher after working for 16 hours straight. While he was sleeping, another employee mistook him for the corpse of a 50-year-old car accident victim,
Can you check his pulse?
carried him to the crematory. How ugly is this guy that he thought he was a 52-year-old car accident
Dead guy.
That's horrible.
Before anyone could notice the mistake, he had already been exposed to the temperatures ranging from 14 to 1800 degrees Fahrenheit and reduced to ashes.
That had to burn his ass.
Yeah. You know, the guy's sleeping and he gets transported over to the crematorium. Then
Think
they
it would
move
wake
in
him
the
up?
oven. Then it would, and then he gets in the oven and that doesn't wake him up.
Right.
But don't you, as soon as
That's a
you
load
feel
of
heat,
shit.
wake up though?
Well,
I,
he
I
probably
would
did.
wake up the
He was
second
in
they
a
tried
deep
to move
sleep.
me.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah. I'd hear him as soon as he came in the room, I'd be waking up.
Yeah.
Shay would wake up and give me another drink.
Oh,
Another
you-
drink,
He did work a
5
double
more
shift.
minutes.
Jenna Davis, one of Henry Johnson's co-workers, says she heard him scream for about 15 seconds after the crematory was activated.
Yeah, I think so.
At first, we didn't understand where the sound was
So
coming
we woke
from,
up for a little bit.
apparently.
15 whole seconds.
When we realized what was happening, it was too late, so we just let him burn.
Burn, baby, burn.
I don't care if you're
Disco
burned.
Inferno.
Honestly,
Well,
what do you do after he's
do
been
they
there
get-
for 5 minutes?
Is
Hey,
that,
leave
is
it
that
in.
considered a murder?
It's accidental,
It's
but yes.
involuntary manslaughter.
Involuntary
Do they go to prison for that?
Not in
Sure.
Australia.
Probably
Yeah.
not.
In Australia, you just have to bang 3
They have
kangaroos.
Again?
But see, the
Or get
difficult-
banged by 3 kangaroos.
But that could be a murder. It could be, it depends if there was a
Couldn't we
motive.
say
If they-
anything was an
If
accident?
they had beef,
Oops.
If they had a reason to do
if
it.
they had a beef,
If they had Oscar Mayer
Where's the
before.
beef?
Ah, here it is.
His name was Jack. He was Jack in the Box.
Miss Davis claims that the young coworker who caused the accident was a new employee
Son of a bitch didn't read the manual.
and had forgotten to check for the toe tag to make sure he had the right body.
The tote.
Yeah, well, it's true.
You know, that's a good way to move up the list. You just burn down all the guys
Everyone
ahead
else.
of you. You don't
That's
get laid
so
off.
weird. That's so weird.
I got a couple of guys I'm gonna have to cremate.
That's kind of.
You know what? You know what?
Wouldn't that be negligence?
in the mortician's manual, that's page 3, and you only got to page 2.
She was a trainee.
It's on the back page.
She's still a trainee. She's learning.
It's in the index.
Hey, you learn from your mistakes.
Listen,
We'll put him in charge.
But I don't get it. If you
they bought their
Whether you're-
tickets.
unless
They
you're
knew
a-
what they were getting into.
unless you
I say, let them burn.
if
Mind if I smoke?
unless
I don't
you-
care if you
burn. Unless you're on like some kind of
Oof.
sleep medication, how do you not wake up from being the heat?
Yeah.
It
Well,
doesn't.
that's
it
too late by
doesn't-
time.
No,
that
he did wake up. That's when he started screaming.
That's when he did wake up, but it's still a little too late, though.
Yeah, but aren't they standing right there? Did they walk away that
No,
quickly?
I
No, they put him in, they turn the thing on, they
Yeah,
leave.
what are they gonna watch?
Are
him?
you
They
gonna
turned
dive
him up
inside
to
the fire
375 for 45
What are
minutes?
they gonna-
There's no
Yeah.
windows, they're not seeing anything happening.
He came out with the
Well,
turkey.
there's probably a window.
There
no
is.
window.
There actually is.
No.
I think in a crematorium.
No. I've been them, I've seen them.
Yeah.
Yes, my
What are you
father
doing?
was cremated.
There's the door.
Paul used to work at a crematorium in Australia.
It's like, where's that in airplane? About 2 more minutes, Chief, and he opens it.
Check the radar range. About 2 more minutes, Chief. This guy's at 35,000 feet. He's at 24,000 feet. They did what an asshole.
The young man could possibly be accused of criminal negligence causing death.
Criminally-
No kidding.
Criminally negligent homicide, yes. Very good
Oops.
job.
That's like crazy. That's
Oops, I
horrible.
did it again.
Ed, would you want to be cremated?
No,
Not again.
Yeah.
Do you want your ashes spread over your ex-wife's house?
no. I want
So
to be
she
anywhere near
can
her.
live in misery?
But she's going to live in misery anyway.
I want to be cremated and put my ashes into a
Hey,
bong.
you know what I just noticed?
Right.
I don't have all your friends talking. I just noticed Ed hasn't been late tonight.
Yeah, no, I didn't go
Yeah,
digging through my
running
trunk.
out the door.
No, I'm not really feeling that well. I didn't feel like digging around in the trunk.
I hear
You
you.
want to get out? If you don't feel it, you can head
No,
out.
I'm fine.
Does anybody want to be
Sure,
cremated
now
here?
he tells me.
I do.
I'd rather be
Really
cremated.
do?
I don't
I'd
want to be
rather
buried.
cremated. I would be
I don't
buried.
know about the cremation.
I want a Viking burial.
I would be.
What's the difference?
I'm
No,
gonna be
yeah,
dead
I do too.
anyway.
You know why? Because
Viking
I want
burial's the way to go.
I don't want to be cremated.
This one wants a Elvis like ceremony.
Oh,
I want to be stuffed.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, you want an
taxidermy. I wanna be-
expensive
I want to
suit.
sit on the
You want a
couch.
I wanna be in a
gold
piano.
throne, coffin.
Something
don't
piano
do
with
that. I
a recorder up my ass going, hey, how you doing? Thanks for
You want
coming.
a whole
How you doing?
procession.
No, I want everybody, whoever comes to my
Dick
funeral,
face.
whoever comes to my funeral, I want everybody to celebrate life, not be sad.
Right.
And
Makes
I
you
don't,
think-
I
makes you
don't
think-
want to be cremated because
That
I
should be a
want,
problem.
I want a headstone. I want
See?
the same way Sam Kinison had his
Right.
headstone, where it says, in another
Celebrity.
life, he would have been called prophet.
What
I
makes you
want that.
What makes you think anybody's coming to your funeral?
Exactly.
Whoever.
You know, you could be cremated and still have a headstone.
Yep.
Really?
you
I didn't know
want a
that.
plot. Yeah.
Don't. What do they do? Put the ashes in the thing?
No.
You get an urn,
You
but
just
you
get
can
a
put
plot.
you can still put a plot.
You put a plot. You
And
You
it's
just
all
have
charged
nothing
for
in
the
the plot.
Yeah, there's nothing in the
Put in
ground.
your backyard.
Or even in a mausoleum.
Nothing
I'll take a
in the plot.
mausoleum.
You good?
Oh, you will?
Yeah.
That's
I know.
okay.
No, I know what we're gonna do.
Generous of you.
It's only
I know exactly what we're gonna do with Carlo. When
20,000.
Carlo goes, we cremate him and put his ashes in a tote.
Yeah. Yes.
Is it a foreigner? As long as it's a foreigner toad.
And then we'll take the tote and get it a good Sam Kinison headstone.
That's it. He's set.
Paul, in all seriousness, go fuck yourself.
I say you could be
I
cremated.
off
I'll
next
put you in a
Wednesday?
Tic Tac box.
No, it's the Christmas party.
Oh,
And Dave, in all seriousness, I know you got a travel family, but you will be missed next week. I
Yeah.
You're not
really,
gonna- you're not
not
gonna
by
be
us, but by somebody.
I really wish you
Someone's
were going to
gonna
be
be-
here.
Wait, Dave's not gonna be here. I'm not gonna be here.
Well, if you're not coming, I'm not coming.
You know
Well,
what?
then I'm not.
And I complimented you today. Paul Field says, "Can I sit in Dave's seat?" I said, "You could sit in his seat, but you'll never fill his shoes."
Hey, no
Aw.
content Paul.
It's not true, though.
He can sit in your seat. Let him come Tuesday.
Hey, is no content Paul coming?
And he says he is, but who knows with him?
Yeah,
He's spiteful because listen. I always want to go down and to his podcast, but either we have the
It's
kids.
so far from you.
No, it's not even that.
It's not far.
It's Dave. I come home from the scrapyard and my whole body is I'm exhausted. I want to go down there and hang out with him to show respect because he's not a bad guy.
When is the show?
He's a
He
comic.
does it on Friday night, so it's like the whole week caught up to me from work, and I'm exhausted. And he keeps saying, and I keep telling him, yeah, then something happens, I don't feel like going, but I do want to go, and I know
Just show up one day.
I invite him here. If he comes, he comes. If he don't, it's
Well, look, if he doesn't come up,
He got his invite.
I'll just do his whole
Well,
act for
listen,
you.
Dave has been respecting and representing,
No, he's been down there.
Animal House
They
Radio.
go to the open mics and stuff, so that's cool.
so it's all
I-
good.
I'll just do Paul's whole act right now. Ed's fat. Ed has no talent. Fuck cunt. I'm done.
You didn't drop any N-bombs, so that's good.
Yeah.
No, but the night's still young.
He reminds me of a perverted Geico, the lizard, the gecko lizard.
Gecko.
That's Australian. He's English.
What's the difference?
Sounds the same to me.
No, it's off by about 2,000 miles.
Yeah, right. Well, it's another whole continent, but whatever. Who's
The whole hemisphere
Yeah,
difference.
pretty much. All.
Honestly, if he's not from here, he might as well not be here.
I wanted to wish we have some celebrity birthdays
He's from
today.
Bayonne.
Dick Van Dyke, 92.
Wow.
Ted Nugent, 69.
Yeah.
Good number.
And Steve Buscemi, who is 60 today. And also in the celebrity news,
Dwayne.
never the drain shall meet. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
good
Yes,
for
he got it today.
About
Good for
time.
him.
What an
And-
ass kiss.
I want to send my condolences and prayers out to the family of Pat Denizio, who we lost last night.
You know, it's funny. I was just about to buy tickets for that show too. He was coming to the.
I love him. I
He's
met
coming
him
to
a
the
couple
You
Count
probably
times.
get him half price.
Very nice
Yeah.
guy and very talented.
How did he pass?
I think he
No,
had.
I said he was sick for the past couple
Well, he's
months
been
or so.
suffering with diabetes.
Yeah,
bad.
but he said he was pretty sick for the past couple months. They canceled a couple of shows. He
Aw.
kind of
What do you have, though? What was he sick from?
I don't
He
know.
said he could have diabetes. Could have been anything.
I mean,
Yeah.
he was really.
You had
Chocolate
Yeah.
intake.
It's funny. It's just the other day. My wife and I. As a matter of fact, we picked up David Byrne tickets
Mhm.
at the Count Basie.
How
We're
many
like, oh,
concerts do you go to?
I go to quite a lot.
And you don't invite me? I always ask you. You get on tour buses with me. I don't even
You
get a
pay,
car.
you go.
You gonna okay? You want to go see David Byrne?
No.
All right, fuck you then.
I want to go see
David
Howie
Bowie.
Mandel
What's
in
that?
April. Howie Mandel.
Bowie's dead.
David Bowie's dead.
Jerry Gallo's
Jerry
dead.
Gallo, Bowie with a B.
C-A-L-L.
So we picked up David Byrne tickets, which I thought was kind of expensive for David Byrne. But anyway, so we were like, oh, should we get
I couldn't
Smithereens
even-
tickets because the opening is Patti Smythe with Scandal,
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
like, well, I would go see her.
She's
I would
great.
do that.
I
She's
love
great.
that.
I
Yeah.
would do that, and then the Smithereens. That's freaking awesome. That'd be great. Okay, great. And then he died today. I'm like, well,
Wait a minute.
that's
Then,
probably not gonna happen.
does Patty? Does the stupid
The
question?
nerve.
The
Is
Warrior.
Scandal still together or no?
Yeah, she's with
Yeah.
she's with Scandal.
No, but are they still together
Yeah.
as a band? Scandal.
Well, it might be
Or
different.
is
Might be
she-
different
It's a little
musicians.
Is she just
Only
touring
for the
by
holiday.
herself?
No, she's with them.
Oh, she's doing.
But it might be different musicians.
It's
Might not
probably
be the
different
original
musicians.
band.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, it's
But
probably
she's
not
probably the only
Oh, you-
original left.
You're over here now.
I don't know for
You over
sure.
here? You're over
Yeah,
here?
I'm over
You
here.
know, David Byrne could have done the theme song
I
for
didn't
that,
know
for,
you
that,
were
for
over
Ed's
here.
story, Burning Down the House.
Yes.
I'm
Watch out.
Sorry about my ignorance. Who's David Byrne?
The leader of Talking Heads.
Talking Heads, remember?
Oh, well, they'll never get back together. They said it.
Oh, no, they hate each other.
No, they're
They're never getting back.
They'd
together.
rather kill each other than get back together.
Yeah.
Well, we have just a place for them then.
I remember
You know-
him doing an
you know what?
interview. Now that you tell me who he was, he goes,
Just tell him to go sleep at a
he goes,
crematorium.
you will never see the Talking Heads back
You know
together
what?
again.
And you know what? The funny thing is, it's probably true, but Guns N' Roses said that.
Exactly.
The
The
Eagles said that.
Yeah, Hell
When
Freezes
Hell
Over.
Freezes Over, not
Yeah.
in this lifetime, they're naming
Right.
tours. I tell you what, even with the Eagles,
Yeah.
I had this thing, and it's just like a little conspiracy theory. They went to the Eagles somewhere in the mid-series, and they said, look, you've done all you can, all right? Pretend to hate each other. Do solo albums, do what you can, and then in like 5-6 years, we'll come back and call it the Hell Freezes Over Tour. 15-20 years,
Oh, it's
we'll
all
come back,
marketing,
and we'll
boy.
make millions. Just go do what you want to do. Pretend you hate each other.
But you're right though about Guns N' Roses. I thought they would never get back together because
Yeah.
they really had
really
a
hated each other.
major war going on there.
Yeah.
It's like the Cars. The Cars will never get back together.
I
'cause-
think
'cause
it's
they-
all.
they
I
hate
think
each
it's
other.
all.
did.
I think it's all
Exactly.
planned out.
They did.
to
So
build-
that's
Don't say
it.
it now. They just they get older.
Well,
You get over that
The
stuff.
Cars
Yeah.
are touring now.
They're
Wait,
like-
you know what it is? The Cars have always toured, but Rick Ocasek was said he was never coming back,
Right.
and then he did.
Right.
Oh, it's like what's his name? Brett
Soon
Favre.
the Beatles
I'm
will
going
be
to
back
retire.
together.
And I'm going to play.
Good luck
And
with
I'm going to retire
Need a
again.
shovel.
And then I'm
Two
going to
more
play
bullets.
again.
I know, this is our farewell tour. This is our
And now
second
John's
annual, first
passing.
ever, third farewell tour.
It's like,
This is on their 35th year of farewell tour.
it's like
Yeah.
Brett Favre.
Yeah.
He retired 17 times and
Yeah.
came back. All right,
Brett,
enough's enough.
Brett Favre.
Favre, yeah.
Favre.
As you get older, you get over things, and it's not. You say, okay,
Well, you
let's
know
get
what
back.
it is because you become
And the
a
money's
adult.
Oh,
You
no.
become an adult, and then all of a sudden you realize, wait, Could we stand each other and make another 200 million?
Exactly.
Okay. Although you know what, I
Exactly.
got to tell you, the Eagles did get back together, but it still fell through with Don Felder.
Yeah, but then Wentz's knee went out. There goes the playoffs.
But see now, in all honesty, now that Glenn Fry's gone, I won't go see him.
Well, I guess I gotta cancel the tour now.
Yeah.
I heard
Carlos not going. That's it.
No, I don't think it's the same. I'm sorry.
Well, the
Sorry.
kid's just as good as
His
you
kid
heard.
is playing now. His kid is playing for
Yeah.
him.
Deacon sits in for him.
Well, I'll tell you what,
And
I'm
Vince
looking
Gill.
forward to seeing.
Deacon
We're all going to
Jones?
go in July to see
Multi-bleed.
Foreigner again with Whitesnake this time and
Oh, with
Jason
Whitesnake?
Bonham.
I
again.
love Whitesnake.
Instead of-
Is-
instead of
is-
cheese.
is what's his name?
The
singing?
Helena Bonham Carter experience.
Is what's his name singing for Whitesnake? David Coverdale.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
of course,
He is the
yeah.
voice of it, of course.
The voice has been gone many times. over
I
the
know,
years.
I
I
know.
saw them a couple years ago with your favorite band, Tesla. at
Oh,
Stone
just get
Cold.
out of here! Just you shut your mouth. You saw
Now,
that.
Carlo, do you think Striper's getting back together?
Just one stripe.
You want to laugh?
Just one stripe.
Depends how many Bibles they have.
When I went up to the car show in Mawa, remember I met
By the Wawa.
Mickey Dolenz, yeah, the Mawa Wawa.
Oh,
There's no Wawa. There's no Wawa.
There should
Um,
be.
Striper was there. There was a couple
Nice
of guys
7-Eleven.
from Striper were there.
Nice.
I mean, nobody knew who they were, but I happened to catch it. But yeah,
Seven,
anything's
seven.
possible.
Hey, Paul, I saw that thing that you, Paul, I saw that thing you posted about Kip Winger. It was actually pretty interesting for as short as it was.
Wasn't it good? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really
You
good.
know what I did notice though? When he was writing the music, he's lefty, but when he plays bass, he's righty.
Yeah. Well, that's because it goes back to the days when people started playing.
Playing, yeah, you couldn't get.
You couldn't get a lefty guitar unless you ordered special. You had to pay a lot of money for it. So they learned how to play righty.
Or you bought a righty and you flipped it. You
Yeah,
flipped the string.
exactly.
You have to restring it upside down.
Right. Which is weird because the controls are up here now.
Yeah,
It's very strange.
that is strange.
Yeah. But Hendrix always played a righty guitar upside down.
Upside down, yeah.
Shay, you ready for your favorite?
I am ready.
You ready for?
I am so ready.
All right, here we
Bring
go.
it on.
Ready? It's game time.
Game time.
Wait, before you do it, Steve, I gotta say one thing.
Yes.
Steve Reyes said there's a better chance of Golden Earring touring the U.S. than Talking Heads getting back together again.
Yeah, that's true. Golden earring.
Is Yoko going to get back with her band?
Yeah.
Hey, can we give it up for the Moody Blues for making the classic rock for the Hall of Fame?
No.
They've got
Absolutely.
nominated.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Okay, whatever.
Well, we just did.
Paul,
We just did.
I said okay. I'm not arguing. I am
Okay.
not arguing with
Oh,
that.
okay.
with
I
you.
didn't hear what he said.
Moody Blues.
I'm not
Moody
arguing that
Blues.
with you.
Booty Blue.
I'm
They
not
finally
arguing
got
that
it.
with
What
you.
Moody got it.
Joe versus the
The
volcano.
The good bands are now getting in again.
He's
I
dead,
know.
that guy.
There's still no Kiss.
So's Rick
Carlo, I
Wakeman.
believe he's dead.
Who, Rick Wakeman?
No, that guy. Rick Wakeman's alive. I saw him.
No.
The guy that plays that part, he's a character actor, has been in
Oh,
everything.
Dan Hedaya?
Then I think he's dead.
Oh, really?
I think
You know
he
what?
is.
I saw this thing. I was going to print it
I just
out
ran into him last week.
of actors that you very well know and you don't realize that
You don't
they're
know who
dead.
they are.
You
Yeah.
very well know.
Like what's his name died?
Yeah. He
The
died.
kid from that was in the movie with Chuck Norris that he was real weak. Jonathan Brandis. He was in the movie with Chuck Norris and he
So
had
the guy we
asthma.
barely know is dead, and we didn't know.
We still don't know
No,
he's dead.
that kid.
He was in Ladybugs with Rodney
Yeah,
Dangerfield.
Oh, that
That
kid?
kid's been dead a long time.
Yeah.
I didn't know
He
that.
killed himself.
He was
I
dead
didn't-
before he died.
I didn't know that, but
That's
there
so
was an
sad.
interesting article about all these people that I'm like, wow, this, and a couple of people I had no idea.
Like
And a
Haley-
couple of
like-
more
like-
people
like
we didn't
Haley
care.
Joel Osment. He sees dead people.
Oh,
Some people are actually dead,
Have you
and some
seen
people actually
the
dead don't even know they're dead.
I thought Jim Neighbors
Tell
died
him.
years ago, believe it or not.
I did too.
And I
did
just
too.
found out he died.
He just died last week.
Did you read the article where he was making, like, between the Gomer Pyle things, he had a show in Vegas where he just sang
Yeah.
with showgirls and all that. $40,000 a week in the 60s.
Right.
Wow.
'Cause it was on a TV show.
Jim
That's
Neighbors,
why.
oh,
No, he was on a TV show, but he also sang and danced in like a
He
variety
had a
show.
real low voice.
In a real low
Well,
voice.
he had a great opera voice.
He had a great opera voice, but he sang in like just a Vegas review
Like a
type
lounge
thing with
act?
yeah, like a lounge act with a bunch of dancing girls and all this. $40,000 a week.
And
I mean,
back
That was
when,
his
though,
off in the 60s.
in the
Like he
60s.
cared about the girls. He was gay. So
No,
he-
no. It was a Chris
No, he
bill.
cared because that made him
No,
look
but
better.
40
than the
grand in
ladies.
the 60s, that's a nice paycheck.
$40,000 a week.
Of course it is.
Well,
That's
look
a
at-
nice
paycheck
I
now.
was gonna say it's a nice
Yeah,
paycheck
paycheck
now.
now. Look
Exactly.
Look at what's his name?
Really, Carlo?
You know, Dean
It'll
Martin.
pay for your coffin.
At the height of their career, or what of the middle point and the peak of their career, Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis were making $250,000 a week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is $1 million. It's $1 million.
It's $1 million now.
Right.
Could you imagine making $250,000 a week in the 60s when you?
How about during the Depression?
When a house was $35,000.
Yeah,
How about during the Depression? You had the whole economy. People making like maybe
Yeah.
making $10 a week, maybe.
$10
And
a
then
week.
all these actors and all these
And Charlie
vaudeville
Chaplin.
acts were making a ton of money.
Charlie Chaplin making $1 million a year.
Exactly.
And then came the talkie.
That killed Al Jolson.
And you know, rolling that.
The amigos are out of the mansion.
Yeah, Jesus.
All right, we're ready
We're
for,
ready for.
let's say
We got all three tonight, or just one game?
just one.
What are we playing?
Oh my god.
Oh, we ain't
Oh
playing. This
my
is serious.
god, I know this song. I don't know who that is.
All right, ready? We'll do this one first.
Oh, that's Toto.
Toto.
Hung the line. On the line. Nope. Something on the line.
Total line.
Toto line. I know it's something. Hold the
Total
line.
line.
Toto.
Okay. There you
They
go.
were studio
He's so
musicians that became a band.
Yes, they backed up Boz Skaggs first, and then said, "Hey, we can do this on our own."
Yeah, and the drummer died. You know how the drummer died? What a freaky accident. He was
Jeff Porcaro?
he was working in the yard. And he breathed in some kind of
He was trying to
What do you
spread
call
the tomatoes,
Pesticide?
and he fell down, and his grandson ran around him.
That's a Godfather. Sorry, wrong guy.
Anthony, come here. Come
He
here,
had an orange
Mama.
peel. And he had an orange peel in his mouth.
He said, give me the orange.
That's how he
Come on.
died. He died from insecticide. Yeah.
Oh god.
All right,
Good for him.
ready for the next one?
Yes.
Number 2.
All right.
It's either that or he had a bug up his ass.
Ozzy, Sweetly. Black Sabbath, Sweetly.
Very good, Mr. Ruffalo.
I thought somebody was having a
Black
cough
Sabbath.
attack.
That's what I thought. It was
Yeah,
Gene.
that's 'cause
Yeah.
of
I
the
thought it was
sweet
Gene.
That's the whole reason
I
it's
thought it was
right,
Gene.
Gene?
I thought it was Gene pissed off the universe.
Wait a minute. Whoa. You
I never heard that one.
You
No.
never heard of Black Sabbath? It's like one of the.
Not that song. No, I never heard
You're
that.
kidding.
That's like a
never
staple
on
in
the
their
radio.
history.
I've never heard the beginning of that.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
that's what I'm saying. I never heard that
song.
song.
Really? You never heard
Not
that?
the coughing. I never heard that.
No,
If you pull a vinyl, you heard that.
I never heard the beginning, like he said.
I never heard the beginning.
Wow.
I always caught the end. I don't
Sounds
know.
like somebody was
What have
having
you been
their
in
first
Smurf? What have you
cigarette.
been in Smurf Village?
Guy
Yeah.
plays 65 requests a
Gargamel
day.
kept that album out.
I thought I was at my urologist.
6,500.
All right, you ready? Here
I
we
want
go.
to hear Iron Maiden.
I sound like my urologist. Turn to the left.
All right, here we go.
Oh, I know.
Rumors?
I saw you walking right.
No, it's rumors.
Did Dave get it?
I like the snare
It's
drum.
like cornflake without the milk.
Who is
It
it?
was rumors.
Bye.
I don't remember. No, it's rumors. Look at all these rumors. Under me every the time.
Morris Day in the
The
time.
name of the group. Think of a famous watch brand.
Fossils. No.
Rolex.
Tag.
No.
Quartz.
80s.
Timex.
80s.
It's a famous watch. I don't know.
Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse.
Oh, wait, who said that?
Swatch.
What'd you say, Paul?
Mickey
You
Mouse.
said
No,
Mickey
before
Mouse.
that.
Timex.
Timex. Timex Social Club.
I didn't even know. I didn't know. I never heard of
They
it.
got in trouble with it. They had to change the name of their group because Timex said,
That's you're not.
so, but that is rumors.
I never heard that song.
Dave, doesn't that sound like the other one?
Yeah.
Walking in the Rain by Orange.
I've never heard the
Juice?
song.
Orange
I never heard that
Julius.
song.
Orange Julius Jones.
That's what it is. Orange Julius.
Aren't you glad we didn't play that again?
O-R-A-N.
Orange Juice
Orange.
Jones.
Orange. O-R-A-N.
Right, Orange.
Orange Julius.
Right. Are we ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
What's Guns N'
Oh,
Roses?
Poison. Alice Cooper.
Yeah, nice reading the board.
Who's reading the board?
That is the board.
Yeah, I can see that far.
All right.
Yeah, his eyes
That
bounce.
is Poison by Alice Cooper. You ready?
I thought it was Guns N' Roses.
What the hell? This
You're
sounds
gonna
like
get
a
good.
corny
Yeah.
80s song.
Yeah, it was in a movie with Richard Dreyfuss and Emilio Estevez. Stakeout.
Yeah, this is Stakeout, right?
With Emilio Estevez.
From Stakeout.
Yep.
I don't know what song it is though.
You're a very popular group.
Sounds like the same
The
music
name of the
from Beverly
band
Hills
is the
Cop.
same name, but it's shortened and then it's long.
Boingo Boingo.
Bow Wow Wow.
It's the same word, but one is abbreviated and one is regular.
Mr.
Mr. is correct. What's the name of the song?
I don't remember that song.
Is the band.
Yeah, that's
Kiri?
No, that's
No,
not
that's not
Kiri.
that.
Broken Wings.
No.
I'm
No,
out.
it's either one of those two songs. That's the only two hits I have.
I would walk
That's the only two
500
songs I
miles.
know.
Tapping out?
Me
Yeah,
too.
tapping out. This is love, this is love, we're at the 80s, baby. Why can't you tell me?
I'll stop
right, turn it
showing
off.
your age.
I'm proud to show my fucking age of the 80s.
For Christ's sakes.
All right, here we go. Ready?
A rumor, like an anorama.
What is it?
Rumors.
Yeah, I heard
them.
them. I heard them.
Like
That
Bananarama.
is correct. All
I
right.
used to like Banana
You
Rama.
know, they were like the highest selling female trio in the
For a
on
little
the
while.
planet.
No, not more than the Go-Go's.
Go-Go's
No,
were
no,
a trio.
No. The Go-Go's weren't a trio.
That was a duo.
Not more than
trio.
an expose.
I
What
think
about
you
the
meant
Andrews
girl
sisters?
band.
What's that?
You mean
Yes.
female trios?
Female trios. They were the highest
Well, the
selling.
Go-Go's were what, 4 or 5?
Four.
Three.
The
No, the
Go-Go's
Go-Go's were four.
Four,
Four
right?
guys, yeah, four girls.
I didn't know that. Thank you, Shay.
You're welcome.
All right, ready? Gene's gonna get this one. I got a feeling.
It's Universe.
Oh, that's Help is on. Help is on.
Yeah, Little River Band.
Yep.
And that's correct.
Little River Band.
So it's easy when to play forward.
I saw them live, and I got the whole band to sign a T-shirt, which I still have hanging on my wall.
You get
I heard this song in
I
so
like.
long.
You don't listen to the station.
I like all of the River Band. Everything they done.
They were good.
Just about everything they've done. I like everything.
I like what's the other one? They
Night Owls.
The big hit that they had.
The big hit was Reminiscent.
Reminiscent. Yeah, that's it.
See, it's so much easier when the songs are played forward. I know. the
Everybody's
song.
gonna jump on this one. These are pretty much softballs tonight. So
Wu-Tang.
Oh, that's Frankie Smith, Double Dutch
Yeah.
Bus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give me
there
a
you go.
hoe if you got your funky bus fare.
Oh,
So like Cheech.
I was what you call it, editing the Tommy John. Oh yeah, I remember that man. You would.
Never remember that one. Moving dirty, so kinda shuffle your feet.
Sounds like Cheech.
This guy was a one hit
hit
wonder.
wonder, yeah.
All right, ready? Shay's all over this.
Yeah, that's Clocks by Coldplay.
I told you, I know. It's like a rabbit dog.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to make some quick announcements.
All right, thank you. Good night.
Good night.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah, that was quick.
We got how much time we got?
3 minutes.
10 minutes.
3 minutes. All right. I just want to let everybody know I should have made this announcement in the beginning of the show,
shit.
but Animal House Radio is now on iHeartRadio.
Yes.
That's a
Yeah.
big deal. And I'm working on Sirius, so maybe in the
Are you
new year-
serious?
Yeah.
So
I am
serious.
So I'm working on that.
Serious.
If you guys wanna, if you love the show, and we have a lot of loyal fans, and I thank everybody for listening. If you want to listen to shows that you may have not been able to catch, go on Spreaker, look under Hamilton Radio, one word, and then check out under the shows tab. You check out Animal House Radio, and we have about 14 or 15 shows up already,
Right.
and I add more every day. I'm gonna try and add
That's Spreaker.
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 like speaker with an R, and
Spreaker.
we're
It's
also on
it's like
YouTube.
speaker if you had a speech impediment.
Yeah.
Spreaker. If you're
Yeah.
drunk.
I want to do Spreakers.
This beautiful set of speakers.
I like to bring the Spreaker of the house up.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have a list real quick that I want to do,
Oh shit.
and I want everybody to.
What is this?
This is there's 11 songs, and it's the most banned wedding songs from 1 to 11.
The most
That you would
banned?
think that they're the most popular, but they're the most banned wedding songs.
Okay.
So think about if you went to a
Oh,
wedding, and
banned.
what do they play? Band.
Not like
Play
Fire.
Moni Moni.
No, no,
Always
like-
and forever.
No, that they don't
Like a
want.
wedding
You
song
mean
that they don't
banned
want.
by B-A-N-N-E-D or
Most bands,
B-A-N-D?
I know. I got one.
B-A-N-N.
Like the chicken dance.
My,
Yeah,
lo- my, love's,
banned.
my love's in jeopardy.
Hold
Not
on.
allowed. Not allowed. Banned. You mean?
Band,
Okay.
yes.
Oh,
Okay.
that.
Dave,
That's
what'd you just
weird.
say?
That's a
Jeopardy.
weird question.
My love's, my love's in jeopardy.
Chicken dance.
Chicken Dance is number 1.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
But they
banned
play it
for
every
weddings.
fucking
They play
wedding.
it at weddings.
People
Not
have been trying to boycott that for like the last 2
The,
years.
Macarena.
Love's in Jeopardy is not on the list.
Yeah, but this
Macarena
the
is
thing.
number 3.
This is the thing. You hire a DJ. He says, "What do you want to hear?" If you say, "If you play that godforsaken chicken dance, I'm throwing you out the fucking window."
No, but some DJs do it as they think it's like
I think it's
customary.
funny.
How about
But-
locomotion?
Knock 3 times.
But what I'm saying is, every
No.
DJ you hire says, "Okay, what?" He basically asks you, "What do you want to hear? What don't you want to hear?"
Well,
If you
yeah,
want to hear
they
the
do.
chicken dance, you fucking tell
You're
him,
gonna
"I don't
hear
want to
it.
hear that shit."
I,
And then you
misunderstood,
don't-
I misunderstood the question.
That's the most. That's
Yeah.
a very recent
Not-
band, though. That
Like
That are
it-
banned,
that
that people
people
don't
don't
want.
want to hear. Band.
For what people? The
How
people
about
that are having the
electric
wedding?
slide?
Yes,
Like,
yeah, that's
that's-
silly.
If you're hiring
Hey,
a
listen,
band to
don't
play,
fuck-
you're going to play what
listen.
you want for the people.
How about the electric slide?
Wait, listen, don't fucking question my list. When
It
you're
doesn't make
talking
any
about
sense. I don't. The way you're stating it didn't make any sense to me. I thought you meant the
the
people.
most banned wedding song. How much fucking simpler could I have
It
made
doesn't.
it?
No, because I don't know who's being banned by.
Who's banning it?
Who's
Yeah.
banning it? The
Who's
couple
banning
that's
your
getting married, or
song?
people
Right.
just in general saying,
Just
"I don't
in
want the
gen-
song."
Just
I
in
get-
general, he's saying
Both.
banning.
People who I guess
people
hire
getting
these
married
bands.
are banning
I
these
said,
songs
listen,
from their wedding.
If you want to
Okay.
get your paycheck, don't play this fucking song.
Okay.
All right, what did you say?
I said electric slide.
Electric Slide is number 6.
Celebration.
Cha-cha slide.
Cha-Cha Slide is number 2.
We said the chicken dance already, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's number
Some
one.
of them I don't understand, never heard
Back
of
that
them.
ass up.
No.
Yeah. Oh, no, I just
Breaking
heard that
up
at-
is hard to
I just
do,
heard that
don't
at 2
we?
weddings. Never mind.
Now, you said the Cha-Cha Slide. What's the other one that everybody
I
does?
said
Macarena.
the love.
We
no,
have that
the
already.
Cupid shuffle.
Cupid Shuffle is number 4.
Never even heard of
Never
that.
heard of that.
Fatal
Oh,
Swallow.
you never heard of Cupid shuffle?
No.
No, do you? You heard it.
Yeah, it sounds
Oh,
like
is that
the,
what that is? Okay, now I know what that
Paul.
is.
It sounds like the
The
groom
Cupid
and the
shuffle.
they're banning. That's what it
I'm
sounds
shocked,
like. Right.
Dave.
That's what it is.
It's just coming from their perspective.
Yeah. How about
I'm not playing this
I like
my
big
way.
butts. I like big butts.
And you
No.
cannot
Sir
lie.
Mix-a-Lot.
You have 2 from the 70s, 1 from the 60s.
Sugar,
and-
sugar,
win.
sugar,
One
The
sugar,
Alley Cat.
No.
sugar, sugar by the Archies.
No,
That's always
um,
played.
The Hokey
crap.
Pokey.
Hokey Pokey is number 7.
How do you not play that?
Dust in the Wind by Will Ferrell.
My boy Blue.
One
The
by
Limbo?
a guy.
More
One by a
cowbell.
guy who's got the same last name
The
as somebody
Limbo?
here. I don't understand. It's a newer song.
Michael
Ferrell.
Hodkowski.
Farrell. Happy.
Yep, number 9.
Oh, I hate that song.
Pharrell
I hate
Williams.
that song.
Yeah. It was on the movie Animal House, but it was originally done by this other soul group.
Oh,
Twist and
Otis
Shout.
Day and the Nights.
No.
That's
Twist and Shout.
Yeah, it was Shout, but it wasn't Otis.
I know it was Isley Brothers.
The Isley Brothers, number 10.
That was the original.
What was it
So
called?
you have
Shout.
1. You have 3 left. You
They're
have
all
number
the good
5.
songs, though.
5, number 8. People are probably sick of them, though.
Sick
Why
of
would
it.
you
but
understand
the,
this
the
song?
list doesn't
The
make sense.
chicken dance is so corny, though.
Is the Limbo on
People love
there?
it. People love it.
The Conga?
No.
Get to see an old pair of
Keep it hard in Texas.
Think 70s dressing up.
Cotton
Oh,
Eye Joe?
YMCA. Macho
YMCA
Man.
is number 5.
Cotton Eye Joe?
I see you have
The
2.
theme to Behind the Green Door.
Yes. Yes.
Marilyn Chambers.
And all the music that plays in between.
1 I never heard.
No Cotton Eye
That's
Joe
what they
on
love.
there?
The score.
That's the score is what you need.
The
what you
score to
need.
Behind the Green Door.
Chariots of Fire.
1 of these I never heard before.
Bro, I asked. No Cotton Eye Joe?
Chariots of Fire.
Who wears short shorts?
An
He said
80s
they're
song.
random.
An 80s song, and then the group is named after a
Pac-Man Fever.
Maniac.
a plane.
How about Shout?
Lame.
A plane.
Jefferson Airplane.
It's a type of plane.
Jeopardy.
A
No,
Jefferson
I'm
Airplane.
It was an 80s song, and it was
Oh, that was the
Macho
70s.
Man.
So that's got to be U2.
no, a name of a plane.
That's a
A
U2.
type
Plane
of
is
a
B2,
plane.
Plane is a U2.
B-52s.
B-52.
Love Shack.
Love Shack.
Lobster,
Love
Love
Shack
Shack.
is number 11. The
I love
last
that
one-
song.
The last one you're not going to get, I never heard. It's called Wobble by Vic.
Oh, yeah. Wobble, baby. Wobble, baby.
Yeah,
Wobble.
number 8.
Never heard.
But now listen, the percentages, the chicken dance, 23.1 share, 22 is cha-cha, 17 on the Macarena, and then it goes down exponentially from there.
OMG.
Exponential.
Exponentially. You got that one right. So what are the vocabulary words we learned this evening?
So far tonight, we learned bequeath, synonymous,
Whoa.
dubious distinction.
Synonymous. What's another word for that?
I don't know. Dubious distinction and exponentially. That's 4 words we learned tonight.
Holy shit. 4 good words.
Man,
Took him back in
You know
school.
what? there's got to be points for having a word with a Q. I'm telling you.
definitely. And plus a double word, double dubious distinction. That's the double word.
I'm on it. I feel so fucking smart now.
All right, let's go around the room. Dave, what do you got?
Dave,
We're
what
not
do you
going to
got?
see you next week. You will be missed, so.
Yes.
And here's the wobble. That's, you heard that.
Still don't like it.
I hate it. I hate it.
I know.
I'm blocking it out so I can still say I've never heard it.
Is there a song that we haven't mentioned that you hate hearing at a wedding?
Yeah, Moni Moni.
Moni, Moni,
I
really?
hate that shit.
How about Sweet Caroline?
Yeah, I gotta do
No, I hate that.
that.
I hate that for personal reasons.
That's a nice drunk song.
I know. I play it because everybody asks me, but I hate
You
it.
know, it's funny because she's absolutely right. Because in the beginning, you're going, I hope they don't play that fucking Sweet Caroline. And 3 hours into an open bar, you go, Sweet Caroline.
Exactly.
You ever seen a Tommy Boy word in the car? That says,
Oh my God, hire up the Spreaker.
Now the drunk song of today is Fireball and Shots.
Shots, yeah. That's but that's because they make you play Sweet Caroline all the time.
Exactly. It's not that I hate the song. I'm just tired of playing it.
How sick are you doing piano, man?
Hey,
Same thing. I'm tired of playing it.
How tired do you think Neil Diamond is of playing that?
Well, he's going ting ting. It's a little
Yeah,
different.
it's a little
But
different.
Angelo Menudo likes it because he made a lot of money.
Paul's sitting at an organ pulling raffles going, shit.
Like the one night we were out, we were like, oh, okay, there's all 10 of yous.
All right, Dave, when is your podcast? Monday nights.
Monday night, we're having our last one of the year this Monday.
Is it like the Christmas party?
Big surprise guest.
Holiday party.
It's such a surprise, we don't even know.
You know who's going to show up.
Whoever the
No,
fuck
no,
shows
somebody
up.
shows up.
Yes.
7 to 9, and where can they catch that?
Mostly Facebook
Mostly
Live.
Facebook
And
Live,
Ustream?
Periscope, Ustream.
Ustream, Periscope.
He
Down.
fucked.
Yeah,
Shay, what do you got coming up? Any gigs?
What do I got? January 11th, we got a big show coming up.
Oh, it's at the South Amboy,
The
right?
South Amboy show at Mara's going to be a good show. Get your tickets soon. They're going to sell out.
Who's
I
headlining?
know they won't.
Anthony Ennis.
Not according to Matt.
Yeah, we got Anthony. Yeah, no, not according to Matt. I know.
We're showcasing 2 newer comedians.
Oh, that guy you told me that was good, the Tyler or
Yeah,
Tyler, whatever. I can't think of his name.
Tyler Herbert.
Herbert.
Young,
Herbert?
young guy, you know, he's
Hi,
in high
Bert.
school, so
Hi, Bert. Hey, Bert. Hey, Bert. Hey, Bert.
Bert. Hey, Bert, this time you rub my dick.
All right, Paul.
This
what do
is
you
my
got?
rubber dicky.
New Year's Eve. New
Yeah.
Year's Eve, Tom's River, Highway Johnson's.
And tickets are how much?
Tickets are 40 in advance, 45 at the door. You get a buffet and a show and a champagne toast at 12.
Wow.
And then I do another 2 hours after that.
Nice.
I know.
Wow, we
And
got.
then, and then
we
you're
got
halfway done.
We got
And then he'll end with
How do they
Sweet
make champagne
Caroline.
with toast?
And it takes a 2-minute break. We got the. Wait a minute.
I don't take
wait a minute.
breaks.
We got the comedy tornado at the Hojo.
I don't think no breaks.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
fun. I did it like 3 years ago there, and it was a lot of fun. I had a good time.
Today is the 13th. You got 12 days till Christmas. And if you need some kind
12
of
strippers at
jewelry
Christmas.
or anything, check out Gisela Bella on Facebook. She'll make you any kind of jewelry you want. Everything is under $20. And it's quality stuff, and you don't have to break your bank. And if you need candles or any kind of, for like maybe the
bring
woman
your house
who,
Candles or any kind of happy horse shit.
yeah, you know, if you need something for the teacher or
Yeah.
somebody who drives the bus,
Yeah.
the mail carrier, the lady who takes care
The
of your
bank
mom at the
lady,
day,
the doctor.
the bank lady, the girls at the doctor's office that always see
Or
Jesus,
the, or the
Oncologist.
really cute nurse.
The fucking teacher's
or
assistant.
somebody at yoga.
The lady that helps me
Or
do my
somebody that's
colonic.
napping, right?
The meter lady.
Right?
Don't forget the meter lady.
Don't forget the counter girl
The
at
lady
Yogi's
that does
Hoagies.
the colonic for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Yogi's Hoagies is going to be a sponsor next year. just
Yogi's
let you know.
Hoagies.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Are we still moving on top of the Indian restaurant?
No, we're gonna be
Yeah,
down
we're-
now. I
we-
thought that
no,
they're gonna be
we're
on
being
top of
all over.
us.
You better get us all close pins for our
Are
nose.
they going to scalp us?
They're going to be on
He
top.
said, him, big 'em, tough.
I say, give
No,
us
but
your
we get
best
free
Indian
passes.
That's the kind of
accent.
That's the plan.
Casino.
Give us your best
They're going
Indian
up, we're
accent.
going down.
No, I don't know the kind of stuff they're doing upstairs, but it's very loud
But
and
isn't it better
stupid.
that we're be down? Because if
Hey,
they're up,
but
Hello, my
It's
friend.
It's always
Welcome
better to be
Casino.
down.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, for Highway Johnson's, call 732-244-1000.
One thing, just,
244-1000.
244-1000 for the Hojo.
It's half sold out already.
And listen,
Half sold out. So
you
move.
guys always make this mistake. Oh, I was going to bring 12 people.
Yeah.
Call up and
Yeah.
make your damn reservations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How hard is it to pick up the phone and make one call?
Even if your numbers
It's not
change, if you
tough.
got less people coming or more people coming, you can always add or subtract,
Right.
call up again. At least make reservations if you know you're going to go.
Right.
Because otherwise, the owners get nervous and sometimes they cancel shows on me.
Now, when we move studios, we won't be able to do that, right?
No,
Make
No.
reservations at the Indian place?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
different Indian.
Whatever.
Wait,
I am
wait,
going.
are we talking casino
Well,
Indian
how?
or
How's that gonna
or
happen?
Slurpee Indians?
Slurpee.
Okay.
You know what's funny? When I was,
Where's the new place going to be?
you know, what's, I don't know.
Where
some
the old
place-
place was.
What's the name of the restaurant? Alibaba?
And the 14 people?
It's an Indian restaurant. So I don't know what the name of it
It's
is.
funny. When I was young,
Where is it?
PJ's Pancake House is on the other side.
oh,
Where,
wow.
where is it?
I'd rather be over
Yeah.
there.
Beach
The old
News
place where we
Veggies.
used to be.
What's that?
The old place where we used to be.
Oh,
In the
okay.
old
You mean
studio.
The new building that's going to be in the old place we used to be.
Wait a
Right.
minute, you mean across the parking lot from
Yeah.
here?
Right.
In the back, yeah.
All the way back there?
So we're going back to the loft?
So they'll be up.
No, it's
and
going to
we'll
be a brand new building.
Oh, wow.
In
We're going to be in a
brand
building
new
over
spot.
here.
It was
We're gonna be
funny.
over here.
Same
We're
building.
talking about the Indian people. When I
Same
was a-
area, same where it was.
No. You're telling me we're going across the parking lot.
Across the parking lot, yeah.
Yeah.
No. You're telling me across the parking lot.
I used to get a kick out of their accents. When I was a kid, I worked at the Hess.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
Yes.
And you weren't allowed to put gas in a can. It was illegal at one point.
Yes.
So
But he could
the
come out of
Indian, the Indian guy comes up to me. He's ran out of gas, and I was like, you know, he wants me to put gas in a can. I go, I'm sorry, I can't do it. It's illegal. He goes, I am knowing of this. Please do a favor to me. It's
Yes.
funny when he was talking.
No, have to loving be pleased to having.
I had trouble with my computer once and I had to call Dell. So you do the thing, they give you the code and they go in virtually and do
Oh
it.
yeah,
So the guy goes, okay, here's the code. H is in Henry. I go, H is in Henry. He goes, 2, okay, 2, 4. Q is in Cupid. I say, Q is in Cupid. Cupid starts with a C. He goes, that's right, Q is in Cupid. I said, forget it.
Oh my God, I'm done.
You know what? I'm gonna throw my computer out by the door. Thanks, there, Haji.
Yeah, exactly.
Get rid of the Filipino boys that might fall
Oh
out.
my God.
It's better worse than call it Sirius satellite radio.
So,
They fuck
Ed,
everything up.
Last
Yeah,
but not least, Ed, what is now?
What?
I'm
You
very
don't feel
concerned
good.
for you. I know you don't feel good, but I'm very concerned about you being laid off, and I'm wondering
Why?
how you're going to be,
Why?
how you're going to
He's
manage.
laid off every winter.
Yeah, he's laid off.
Yeah,
work.
What are you going to do with all this free time on your
He's
hands?
got 4 other jobs.
Same thing
Besides
he
the
does
fact that
every
you blew off Giselle's birthday party for the Cowboys, who got trounced anyway.
They won.
Oh,
No,
they-
you know what? You know what he's gonna do? There's just gonna be like all the hookers in northern Jersey are gonna.
He's going to hang out at Joe's.
And he's not going to need
No.
money for him.
They're gonna
Yeah.
disappear exponentially.
Are you going to hang out at
In his
Joe's
trunk.
Pizza with a table? Go, tell that guy to come and see me.
Yeah, why not? Tell them, bring me a slice.
No,
Or maybe a
all right.
Murray-Al's.
Is there anything you want to say to your company for laying you off?
He did
during the
already.
holidays?
No, I've already bashed them twice.
So why not make
You have any shows coming
three
up, Ed?
times the charm?
March 24th, I'm doing,
Did we drive around Kingsburg and look for you again?
Actually, we have the Rutherford Firehouse on the 24th, announcing wrestling.
Nice.
Oh,
That's gonna
that's
be
in
fun.
what, March,
That'll
right?
be fun.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be fun. It might be a permanent thing if it goes over well.
You know who started that way? John Panette.
Yeah.
He's had that show on TV when they had box with the big giant boxing gloves.
Yeah.
He was the referee. That's how he got his start.
Are you gonna dress up like Mean Gene Okerlund?
No, I'm dressing like this.
Right.
You can have your lays though.
You
right?
dressing up?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We'll see you all next week. Don't forget, next week is our Christmas party.
7
Alpha Male Radio Show, Animal House Radio Show. Second year we're doing this, so make sure you come. Everybody's welcome. There's gonna be food, and we're
We'll be
gonna
here.
do a tribute to the troops with like a mini concert. So
Dave.
don't miss it, and we'll see you all again next week. This is the Animal House Radio Show.
Peace out.
Yay.
Wobble. Don't forget to
Hey-o.
wobble.
Yeah.
That's what Dave's gonna do right now. Go ahead.